Hello, 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 and welcome back to yet another Rag Company podcast, where I'm your host, Dane Hennon. To my right, Levi Gates. Try again.
What's up, dude?
There it is. All right, and to my left, Anthony Fisher, who's been talking to walls since we left.
Hey guys, Anthony here with the Rag Company. What's going on? Glad to have you back. It's been a while. It's been quiet.
It feels good to be back.
Yeah.
Let's say that. You know,
We are glad to be back.
I'm really sorry to all the fans that have had to endure Anthony just talking by himself. I really apologize for that. However, I will say, Anthony, you did a wonderful job.
Thank you, Levi.
You really held down the fort.
Did.
I want to thank Next Day Nate and Josh Brodel for getting everything done and really keeping the party going, which has been nice. But I'm thankful that you stayed behind.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I
I need to go ahead and crack this thing open.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
My
is
gosh.
This gonna... Apologies for my bandage.
So what am I drinking here?
Well, that Anthony, that is Liquid Death sparkling water straight from the Alps.
Wow. That is refreshing.
I bought it at Fred Meyer's.
Wow.
I didn't bring it back from Germany.
No.
Oh, okay.
But I will say Dana and I drank a lot of sparkling water.
So much
Sparkling water.
We learned the different kinds.
Yeah, they have medium water.
Yeah, they have medium.
Which
where
is
it's
like a
like
light sparkling.
it's
Which
bubbles,
is
but
light
it's
sparkling.
less.
It's literally sparkling water and regular water mixed together.
Oh, that
You have
sounds kind of
strudel,
good.
Yeah.
you have medium, and then you have natural.
Yeah, so we drank a ton
Yeah.
of sparkling water, and I found that I really enjoyed it.
So
It's funny.
So when you ordered normal water, did you just ask for raw water?
Yeah, basically they ask if you want to raw dog the water.
Yeah.
And I said, I'll
They
just
might
take
confuse
some.
that as hot dog water. And, you
And
don't
I
want
said,
that.
not hot dog water. I'd like some sparkling water, please.
Uh-huh.
No, but every place we ate, sparkling and still. That's how they said it. Still.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
Still want water?
Still
Yeah, I'd
is-
still like some water. No, still water.
No, you're like, I'd like some still water. And they're like, well, it hasn't changed.
Yeah.
It's
Stillwater.
still
Stillwater is a band from Almost Famous.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
That's
Isn't that what that was called?
I think so.
I think it was Stillwater.
Yeah, it might be.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Somebody
it was,
in the comments
needless
let
to
us
say, we
know.
drank a lot of water. When I got back, I was craving sparkling water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, friends of Liquid Death,
Well.
just asked for my soul in return,
Yeah.
and I was able to procure some of this delicious beverage refreshment.
They
small
sent
price to
sent
pay.
you free water?
No, I bought it. I paid money with it.
He
So,
paid real
so
money for
what
it.
do you trade your soul for?
Entrance into their country club.
Oh.
A membership.
So, but I'm sure if you trade your soul, there's probably something worth it. Like there's like maybe a whole water sponsorship, or maybe every month they send you out a new case of free water.
No, it's a free T-shirt and some like 10% off
Oh, dear.
certain things.
Water ordering online.
Yes. Yeah. So
That's the thing. So,
anyway, it was a good deal because
Yeah.
normally it costs like $100,000 to get into that country.
Yeah,
club.
125,000, right?
Yeah. So,
Wow.
but I just you sell your soul, it's free. So I
Wow,
said, why not?
interesting.
But anyway, thanks to our friends at Liquid Death.
Look at that.
Feeling refreshed.
All right.
So I will say we have a couple of housekeeping things to
Yes.
cover, and it's going to sadden some of you.
Oh, no.
You
What
might want
happened?
to
What's he about to say?
You might want to take a seat for this. So, I got news yesterday that the graveyard sale this weekend will not be happening. I know.
I was planning on cooking hot dogs all day
I know,
Friday.
I know,
so
I know. So late yesterday evening, a somewhat stressed John Green came into my office, and by office I mean my cubicle, and he said that essentially we have so much going on right now, logistic-wise, with boxes and pallets and product that we simply do not have space for, that half the team is very busy doing that. The other half of the e-commerce team is very busy doing other website maintenance style things. And he said that for what we want to do, there just is not the capacity to host this amazing graveyard sale where you'll get old Rag Company treasures shipped to your house.
It's literally cleaning out the corners of the old building.
Yeah. So what's going to happen instead is we are going to be running a different sale, which is still also going to be very exciting. Not as exciting as the graveyard sale, but
what could be?
we will be pushing the media graveyard content, right? Because we still have a very fun idea to the following week, technically, or the following 2 weeks, I believe. And it'll be a fun time. It'll be really, really cool. However, the graveyard portion of getting old TRC treasures may not happen until next spring because we have, we still have all those cool products from back in the day, but we are going to be basically having another sale this month, and then we're going to be at SEMA. And then after SEMA, it's going to be Black Friday. It's going to be all that. And then we're going to be in Christmas. It's just there's not going to be a good time to fit this in.
Yeah.
So we will have to push it back. But I know a lot of people.
A spring cleaning graveyard.
Yeah.
People like cleaning up their graves, planting some flowers, getting ready for the spring weather.
But
it's a job people do.
Yeah,
I know. So I know some people are bummed about that because a lot of people are really excited about the graveyard's idea, sale, and everything. We just don't have the capacity to do it right now. So with that said,
why announce before we know?
Well, I know. Sorry. Well, that was the plan.
Yeah,
it was the plan all the way through, and then yesterday it was a change of plans. So, anyway, other things than that, housekeeping wise, I want to say congratulations to our newest Grambassadors for Q4.
Congrats, y'all.
It was awesome to see everybody on the list yesterday.
Yeah, congratulations,
that was
guys.
pretty rad.
So I'm going to read off here the names of everybody who is new to the Cool Kids Club here. We've got, oh my gosh, from the USA, we've got DEFCON Bricks, who has actually brought in his really sweet truck a long time ago, and we hopefully we can do something content related with him.
Yeah.
But he's a great Grandmaster to have on board. Then we also have the Kid with Tats from New York. We have Bozeman Car Care from
you guessed it.
None other than Bozeman,
Montana.
We have Voodoo 350, which I can't remember if he was from California or not, but he's got obviously a really sweet GT 350. Mm-hmm. And then we have Nifty Noah Detailing, which I believe is in California. Mm-hmm. And then we have DM Auto Salon, which actually he's in Idaho.
Oh.
I think it was Rupert, Idaho.
Oh, Rathdrum.
Rathdrum?
Yeah,
Rathdrum.
A town I've never heard of.
No, I've heard of Rathdrum, but that's only because I had a friend move there when I was a kid.
You've heard of Rathdrum?
I've heard of Rathdrum.
Where the heck is Rathdrum at?
I don't know. I just heard of it. I think it's north.
Hold, please.
I know it's north.
I want to say it's north and it's east.
Okay, so
but
those are the
Grandmasters
representing the USA, and then we also have a little bit of worldly presence here.
6 hours and 51 minutes
Holy crap.
away from the Rag Company studio.
Where's it at?
Right outside of Coeur d'Alene.
Okay,
see?
beautiful.
So North
Idaho.
Yeah, North Idaho.
Probably some pretty good money up there,
Yeah.
right, for detailing. And then from the UK, we have Detailing THH, also known as the Hairy Horsewife.
Jared.
And then we have 5-star Valeting, also
Valeting.
5-star Valane. Very nice.
I believe we call them
Nothing better than
They call them valeters here.
valeters, valeters.
It's like a thin cut valet.
And then we have from Germany we have G Polish Detailing, and then from Canada we have BTN Detailing. So we have a really good worldly representation here.
Yeah.
And we're really excited to basically give everybody their product, give everybody their discount codes, and see what kind of content you can create for Q4. From here, it's going to be pretty tough, guys. Q4, end of this, we're going to see what these guys put out. December, the judging starts for Grandmaster of the Year. Technically, it's kind of in January is when it starts. And we are going to establish what the grand prize is going to be. But I am going to be struggling with this because we've had a ton of great Grandmasters this year, and
quality folks.
It's gonna be it's gonna be good. So anyway, that's pretty much it for housekeeping. New Grandmasters.
Yeah,
nice.
No sale. Well, there is a sale, but it's a different sale. And then I would say one thing you can look forward to. There's a shirt coming out.
Oh,
it's our most badass shirt we've ever created.
It's one of those shirts that people continually ask us every year when we release a special edition shirt. People go, how do I get that?
And then
how
a year later they see it and they go, what?
Yeah, right.
So I want that shirt. And you're like, you missed it by a year.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you guys to save your ducats.
Yeah.
Make sure you got a little money set aside so you're not broke when the sale happens.
Think what a high quality T-shirt costs.
It's like, Anthony, you want to
save
take like
that amount.
Take $25, maybe move it into your savings account so that your checking account,
high rollers.
you can move it back over.
Funds,
yeah. That way you have the money to be like, ooh, I'm going to buy this shirt when it drops.
Now this shirt's super badass, so I think people are going to like it. And then, so just keep an eye out.
How do they find out about the shirt? What's the best way?
They can find out about the shirt as well as the sale by signing up for the Rag Company newsletter, going to the details. So go to theragcompany.com, enter your information for the newsletter, and then you'll be up to date on all the latest sale stuff. So
also make sure it doesn't go in your clutter or junk spam folders.
Yes, that is absolutely true. So anyway, we have a lot to cover because my colleagues left me for basically a month, and they were on a glamorous vacation where they did amazing things.
It was a glamorous vacation,
and they were pampered, and they had free food, and there was boats involved. There was massages involved.
For me,
there was lots of hot dogs involved.
We didn't eat any hot dogs.
Lots of glizzies.
We ate hot dogs. We ate brats. We had some good.
We'll get to that.
Lots of glizzies involved, and so I don't really even know where we want to begin.
Well, I mean, let's
start at the beginning.
Chronology.
Well, so
chronologically,
since you guys are gonna be telling your full story, do you want me to just knock out my weekend?
Yeah, why don't you knock out your weekend so everybody knows what's going down? Because you actually had a fun weekend this weekend.
I think I did have a fun weekend.
We saw it in the chats.
I did have a fun weekend. So long story short, Katie, right, and the baby, my daughter Lucy, went up to Coeur d'Alene for a celebration of life, the funeral. Somebody had passed away. It was like a cousin of their family. And so they went up there. So Katie and Lucy left, I think Friday morning early. And so Katie had been telling me for the last couple of weeks, hey, this will be a weekend for you to do a lot of car stuff if that's what you're wanting to do. And so for the last week, I've been like writing a list of everything I wanted to do. Like, oh my God, this is going to be, I'm going to go to town, right? I'm going to go crazy.
You're not going to sleep.
I'm going to go crazy. I don't have to report to anybody. I don't have any diapers to change. I'm just going to do all the stuff I've been wanting to do for maybe several months. So anyway, they left. So Friday evening, got off work, went home. And I told myself that tonight I'm going to be cleaning the undercarriage of the Evo, right? I was under the car.
Was it dirty?
Well, listen, I was under the car a couple months ago, and I saw some spider webs, and I saw a lot of dirt and a lot of things that just like I was like, man, this thing's pretty dirty under here. I haven't done.
It's around the last time you drove it.
I haven't done a true underside cleaning in a while, right? So I said Friday night I'm gonna get the car up on a jack stand, pull the tires off, get under there, and start cleaning things. So open up to get the wheel wells all, prepared for myself. I grabbed some wire brushes for the aluminum control arms. I grabbed some Green Star, I grabbed some O&R, I grabbed my steamer, I grabbed all of that. And I started this detailing process, right?
Okay.
It was about halfway through the first rear control arm section when I realized that I don't want to be doing this. Right? Like I'm literally, I felt crazy. I said, I am literally taking a brass wire brush and I am scrubbing an aluminum control arm that nobody can see. Right? And I'm using APC, I'm using tar and glue remover to remove tar. I'm doing all this stuff. But I'm like, why am I doing this?
Why?
Right? Like this doesn't make any sense to me. And
how does it benefit the Anthony household?
It doesn't benefit me. It literally, like all it does is make me so I know like, wow, it's pretty clean under there.
How is this helping Lucy get into college?
Yeah. So needless to say, after like scrubbing for literally 2 hours on these stupid control arms and steaming them and getting them all nice and cleaned, they only looked like 30% better. Right? Like honestly, the whole things need to come out, right? And everything needs to come out. Bushings need to be replaced. All this stuff. If I were to do a proper cleaning job, right?
Right.
Everything's fine.
Are the bushings dry rotting?
No, bushings. Everything's totally fine. I'm just saying that if everything's going to come out, it's going to come out. I'm going to redo everything, right?
Sure.
But there was no point. So it only made it look like 20, 30% better. So then after that, I finished the first side, and I was about to say, forget this. I'm going inside and watching TV or something.
Yeah.
But then because I'm crazy, I said, well, I can't stand the fact that one side is clean and the other side is not, right? That's going to bother me,
This
right?
is the crazy that lives inside your head.
So then I jack up the other side and I start cleaning the other side, and I'm into that another hour and a half, 2 hours.
Wow.
And
you wrote a list down of what you wanted to do with the weekend away?
Yes.
And this was what you chose.
This is one of the first things where I thought it would be relaxing.
Right.
Like I said, I'm going to turn on.
You're laying on the concrete.
Well, I'm going to turn
Very
on.
relaxing.
I told myself I'm going to turn on music.
Right.
I'm just going to vibe
You
out.
prepared
right?
your body for this.
AirPods in, headlamp on, scan grip, and
Did
just
you shave
kind of
prior to this?
No, I didn't shave.
A beverage of
you had?
choice, perhaps?
But I don't know what I had. I think I had just a water. But I was just
should have been liquid
scrubbing,
death.
steaming, and I finished up and I said that was stupid. Right? I wasted too much time doing this, and then I realized that I got a bunch of overspray of Green Star all over the side of the car. Right? So then I'm like, well, it was honestly, dude, it was like 11:30 at night. I said, I'm probably going to have to give this thing a rinseless wash now.
Mm-hmm.
So then I'm rinseless washing the car to get off the EPC that floated to the outside of the car. And after I did that, I finished at about 12:30. And I said, my back hurts, my fingers hurt, everything's raw. That was a stupid idea. I'm going to go to the gas station and go and get myself a tall boy Corona and some Takis.
Ooh.
And that's how I'm going to end my night. So that's what I
Okay.
did.
Okay, that's not too bad.
So I grabbed that,
Tall
right?
boy Corona and
Yeah.
some Takis.
Went home,
Okay.
right, and watched the disappointing episode that was She-Hulk. I think that show is absolute garbage.
you
It's
you
the
hate
worst.
it, so you keep
I
watching
haven't
it.
finished
It's
it,
so crappy, Dane, that like I can't.
So is it weird that the CGI is off?
It's all bad. Like
It's like they
I
really
haven't watched that
it's-
show because I've
So
just
Dane,
heard
they
nothing
really
but
skimped.
unfortunate things.
They skimped on the CGI. Like it's rushed.
Like
it's
it's
rushed
even more.
CGI.
all the Marvel stuff
Now
is
I will
rushed.
speak up for
Like,
VFX
more than-
creators and
no.
say that they are overworked
I'm sure they are overworked, but this was
and given
like
impossible deadlines.
so the She-Hulk herself VFX. It's literally like they had to rush some of it, and it didn't get done. And it's very reminiscent of Harry Potter 2000, like first Harry
okay.
Potter movie
Yeah.
VFX,
Yeah.
where you're like, oh, that, okay.
Dobby's looking kind of weird.
That looks like Dobby wasn't even introduced, but
No.
this is like when he's on when he's on his broom and he's trying
Yeah.
to catch the thing and it's throwing him around.
Yeah.
And you're like, that looks like a cartoon.
This
like,
is unfortunate.
that's how this is. Like they
Okay.
probably should have made it a cartoon. It would have done better.
Pro tip: drop that show. Just watch Andor instead. Way higher quality.
Yeah,
much better
Andor is
show.
much better.
Yeah, well,
Andor is great to watch.
Anyway, so this show's She-Hulk is trash. I mean, like it is literally the last 3 episodes have been about nothing. Like
that's frustrating.
Nothing.
That's
like,
what I've heard from you
nothing has
repeatedly.
happened. Nothing has happened. And I go, you have created 3 episodes of nothingness?
Yeah.
I said half the show is about nothing, right? It's about small little problems that have no reason being in a superhero show.
Yeah, they're trying to establish a character, but they haven't given the character.
I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed by
fun
the
to do.
character. I'm
Right.
annoyed by the character. I think they should have just literally painted her green instead of doing any type of VFX because the VFX looks like
Well,
absolute
then we're back
crap.
to the Lou Ferrigno days.
So I would have rather her been green face, and pull that off because this doesn't make any sense. Anyway, so watch that. Saturday, right, was a day where I was going to knock out a bunch of different things. I wanted to install the double din, right? The Pioneer.
Nice. Yeah, you're a big
Yes.
fan of those double din stereos.
Double din stereo
Yeah.
into
Pioneer.
to my
People
au-
ask if you want a single, and you go, "No, I need a double."
I need a double.
Straight to the double.
So-
Burgers,
everything.
shots,
Yeah.
drinks,
Hot dogs, glizzies,
hot dogs,
all that.
Double guy.
So the RSX was going to get this doubled in. I mean, it did, but the plan is that I was going to wash the car in the morning, clean up the garage, get everything cleaned up, get everything looking nice and neat in there. And I did that, and everything cleaned up okay. Right before Katie left, she had thrown a bag of trash into the garage. My wife does this because she says,
where the
hey,
garbage
if
goes.
I throw it in the garage, Anthony will take it out, right?
Uh-huh.
And so she throws this bag in there, and there was something that leaked out of this bag, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what it was, but it stained my concrete, right?
No.
And like in the shape of a garbage bag size. And I said, hey, what was in that bag? And she goes, I don't know. There was like some blackberry sauce in there. And I said, I don't know if that would have been it. And then she's like, there's some coffee. whatever it was, I had a huge, giant brown patch on my garage, right? So because I'm also crazy, got on my hands and knees and started scrubbing my concrete, and that didn't work. So then I started sanding my concrete, right? And at that point, I'm like,
this is a list. There's a list that you chose to write down ideas of what you wanted to spend your weekend.
It just my wife doesn't realize
changing light bulbs all over.
Cleaning control arms.
Well, my wife doesn't realize because when she does something like this, right? She goes, "Oh, whatever. It's just okay.
Right,
it's the garage, right?" And I said, "This right here,
it's
right,
like your It's
this
like
is like
bathroom.
it's like your bathroom, right? This is like me going in." I don't even know what it would be.
Putting a car part on the kitchen counter.
Dyeing eggs in the bathtub, and now your bathtub is green.
Yeah.
But, don't worry about it because...
But yeah, it's a bathtub. It's whatever. It's fine. It's going to get dirty. Yeah. So anyways, so I'm like sanding concrete, trying to get everything cleaned up. Then I jump into the actual stereo install. It was the most difficult, most simple stereo install I've ever done. The concept was stupid easy, right? It's 2 bolts, right? A plastic pop cover, and you push the whole stereo out of the dash, right?
Yeah.
This thing was in there so good after 16 years, right?
Yeah, it took
me almost 3 hours of massaging the back of this thing.
It sounds
and
relaxing.
cutting
Did
into
you have
my
pry
hands.
tools, like panel tools?
It wouldn't have. No. So you can't hulk it. If you hulk it, you break the dash.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you have pry tools and you just sit there and you just finesse it.
No.
You should have had Dane there finessing.
No, because you have to get your hand up in
there.
there.
Scratch your dashboard.
And you gotta. You're basically going elbow deep, right?
And
you're getting in there.
Yeah, it's
and
that,
like the good doctor intended.
But you're going down and up into the dash, and you can't see anything.
You got to use feel at that point.
So
at that point, you got to ask the car to turn his head and cough.
Anyway, it was going okay. Dropped a bolt right into the freaking netherworld. It literally went into the bowels of the bottom of my dash, into the whole, like, whatever that is down beneath there.
Yeah.
It went in there.
That's a rattle for the next owner.
I spent 2 hours trying to find this bolt.
So we've wasted 5 hours of your 48-hour weekend.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Scrubbing concrete.
No, we're at almost 8 hours.
Yes.
At this point, has been lost.
Yeah. So I'm trying to find.
So
this.
what got accomplished so far? You've cleaned the back control arms. You washed the car.
Yeah.
You cleaned the garage.
I washed 2 cars technically.
Okay.
Davis.
And then you've started the replacement. You had to grind the concrete.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And then you started the replacement of the stereo.
Yeah.
This is essentially
so if anything, this is telling you is that there's still not enough time in the world for me to be happy, right?
The universe is telling you to stop.
So I spent far too long looking for this bolt. Couldn't find it. Yeah. I cut up my hands. I literally was probably doing more damage, if anything, than trying to find this stupid bolt. All it was a bolt. And then I said, you know what, Anthony? I really want that matching bolt, but I'm just gonna have to go to the store. I didn't go to the store. I looked inside my tool chest, found almost an identical bolt. I said, fine, I'll just use this. Everything came out, replaced it with a new thing, and what I was finding is that certain wires weren't long enough to get to certain things. It came with this whole adapter harness for the stupid stereo that didn't make any sense. And I finally said, okay, this is how this goes, this is how this goes. It's going back in. I put everything back together. I turn it on. My music starts playing through the iPod portion of this thing, and I'm like, dang, dude, this is bumping. This is awesome. This is the best investment ever. I'm gonna be able to listen to my music now. I have Apple CarPlay. I got all this stuff, and then I go, wait, my Apple CarPlay isn't. How does this work, right? And I'm trying to figure this out. My Bluetooth thing is grayed out. Nothing's working properly. I threw up some YouTube videos with this issue, and everybody says, oh, yeah, you got to ground the green wire that goes to your handbrake, right? And you also need to blah, 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 do this, this, and this. And I'm like, I've already put everything back together. Everything's back together already. I'm like, F this. Feeling. I'm done with this. I don't want to touch it right now, right? From there, I have a.
Should have called Gabe. He's a professional.
No, he would have
installer.
scratched up my dash, and
that's true. He's pretty good at that.
So on Sunday morning, I have this Honda rally that I'm going to, where I'm taking the Civic up through 150 miles of twisty roads. Right?
The new one?
No, I wanted to take the Civic because
the
Civic's a better handling car than the RSX is at this point.
Moment. I was just saying that's not true, stock for stock.
No, maybe not stock for stock, but right now mine's much better. So I said I have to clean up the Civic, right? So it's already late in the evening. I'm tired. I went and got some Gandolfos, got myself a sandwich and all this stuff, right? Because I wanted to be able to set the mood before washing yet another car. I've realized that there's a number of cars I can wash in a weekend before I'm unhappy. 3 cars is the perfect amount before I'm unhappy.
That's why I have 4, because I can wash 3 if I want, or I can wash 1, or I can wash 2.
1 is relaxing. 2 is kind of like, oh, I've done some work, right? 3 is like, I think I'm at the end of it. 4 is I don't want to do this anymore. And
but I can pick and choose.
Yeah, you can pick and choose, right? Now, if I'm getting paid for it, I'll wash cars all day long, right? But if it's my day off, and I'm like, even if it's my own cars, they find out there's a point. So from there, what did I end up doing? I got everything all situated to wash the Civic. So I got the Civic washed, got it all cleaned up. It's late into the night. I got my neighbors walking by, and they always say the same crap, dude. It's always, hey, mine next. It's either mine next, or it's another guy saying, hey, are you selling that car now? Are you selling that car? So I have some neighbors are like really judgy that like walk by and they're like, how many cars do you have? Like, do you need this many cars? Where's your blue car? I'm like, blue car's gone. I got this car. Get out of my life. Don't worry.
Asking questions, old
man. Don't worry about what
You're
I'm doing.
Do you collect stamps? You look like you collect stamps. I collect cars.
Worry about something else. My yard looks immaculate, right? My cars are clean. They're somewhat nice, even though they're old, crappy
They're like, that guy owns a
Hondas,
dealership. That's what they're thinking.
Yeah.
So anyway, but I keep working through it. Everything's going fine. I washed the Civic, get that all done up, and I didn't tell you guys. When we had an event last week or 2 weeks ago when Justin Pate was here last week, right?
Yeah.
Justin Pate was hosting this rap class, and I brought the Civic that day, and one of his attendees of the rap class looks at my car and says, oh, hey, that door handle's kind of odd. I want to learn how to wrap a door handle like that, right? So he talks to Justin, and he's like, hey, Justin, I have a car I'm doing next week that has a door handle like his car right here, this red car. Can you show me how to do it? And Justin was talking to him outside my car. I kind of walk over them to see what they're talking about. And Justin kind of looks at me and he nods and he goes, yeah. And I go, yeah? What? And then it's an hour later. I'm sitting here in my office. Yeah. And Gabe runs inside and says, Anthony, the whole class is outside and Justin's doing a demo on your car. And I go, what? And he goes, yeah, your car's filthy. And he's rubbing all over it. And I go, are you kidding me? So I run out there. Keep in mind, my car is filthy.
And you don't want to be the guy who stops at class.
Hadn't been washed in like 2 weeks or so, right?
Nice layer of dust on it.
And Justin's doing a demo on my door handle and door, right? My favorite part was he was like halfway through. I was running over there because I don't want to look like a freaking crazy person and be rude, right?
You are.
But I run over there, and Justin goes, oh, none of this stuff is sticking. The car is ceramic coated. Everybody feel it. That's how you'll know. So I had everybody in that class.
I think there was 21 students.
I had everybody in that class go up to my Civic, covered in dirt and sand and whatever the heck came out of that rain, right? And start rubbing their hands all over the Civic, right?
This is why we can't have nice
And
things.
I run up right as that's happening. And everybody's like, yeah, it's so slick. This dude is literally just rubbing my hood, right? Rubbing that dirt into my hood. And Gabe is looking at me like this, like...
I know that.
Gabe's looking at me. Anthony B's looking at me like, oh crap! Like, Anthony, no. And I walk up. All I can think of is
just embrace.
I'm just like, what's happening? I'm like, F me, right? I'm like, that's cool. Like, this is great, right?
So you're gonna add that to your list.
And then
your weekend
and
away.
Then Justin continues leaning up against my car, putting magnets, putting his phone magnet on my car while everything's dirty, sliding it around.
Yes.
Sliding it around, and I say like, we work for a detailing company, right? Where it should be very well known that people here are very passionate.
No,
and
the
care
assumption
about this
is,
kind of stuff.
you can fix this.
Yes, but that's the assumption from everybody. He's like, oh, well, you can just fix that really quick.
Don't be so weird about it, dude.
I can fix that with what freaking time do I have to fix that? I don't have time to fix this kind of crap anymore. And so after this happened, right, I looked at Gabe and I said, I'm fixing my car on company time. I don't know what day I'm doing it, but I'm fixing it and I'm repolishing this crap because this right here happened on company time. It's going to get fixed on company time. And he's just like, no, I agree. Yeah, that probably should get fixed. I don't know if John will like that. I'm like, did John have a bunch of people go up to his dirty car and rub his hands all over a car that's coated and kept nice
without
and
asking
maintained,
for permission?
Without asking for permission.
That's the key. To everybody watching right now, ask permission before doing any of these things. Just very simple. Very, very simple. Ask permission.
Yeah. So I wouldn't have, if he would have said, hey, can I do a quick demo in your car? I said, absolutely. Let me go grab some Absolute, some O&R, whatever. Yeah. Let me me do anything other than you working on my dirty car. Right? That's what I would say. So that whole situation happened. It still bothers me. If it's not already freaking obvious that it bothers me, that the audacity. Anyways, so from there, the audacity, whatever it is. So back to me in my garage. I washed the Civic, right? I'm inspecting. Yeah, the whole thing is freaking micro-marred to hell on the driver's side, on the hood, my trunk, my bumper, my roof, my other side of my quarter panel, my door, my other fender.
So the whole car.
The whole freaking car was touched. I couldn't even believe it. I said, how do you touch the whole car? You couldn't have all gone to one section and said, yep, and moved the dirt and then said, yep, that's slick.
That's not how crowds
feel
work.
where I felt. You feel where I felt. You feel where I felt. It was everybody pick a new section of the car. You'll know it's ceramic coated because of the way it feels, right?
Manifest
Just
destiny for
rub
touching
that
coated cars.
Freaking dirt into the paint.
I need my own land.
Yeah, anyways, so I washed the car, still mad about that. After I finish that, I say, okay, this is good enough for this stupid Honda Rally thing. And because I was mad. I was mad that I've already wasted half my weekend on stupid crap.
Yeah.
And the other part of it was I'm tired. My back hurts, and I don't think I want to do this drive. Well, I get a little bit of energy because I order some pizza, right? I don't know what I ordered. Everything I ordered, some pizza.
He's like, it's all a blur. I saw red.
It's all blurred now. And then it was like 11 o'clock at night. I said, that stereo's gonna freaking bother me, man.
Yeah.
That stereo's gonna bother me so bad that I didn't do it properly. So I moved the Civic back out, moved the RSX back in, and I finished the freaking stereo and I get it done right. And I sit in my car. It's midnight. I crack open a beer and I'm just sitting there listening to music, saying, "Well, I guess this was today, right?"
Oh, no.
And I wrap that up. So then Sunday, I'm running late. I forgot to set my alarm. I'm running behind. I'm trying to get to this Honda Rally because everybody's expecting me to be there and and have a good time.
You're a Honda guy.
I'm like, I drive all the way out to the exit there to get to Idaho City. So to give you guys an idea, the idea that I was presented with was there was a Honda Rally that was happening where a lot of Hondas were going to meet up and then do this run through Idaho City, do the Loman Loop, and come out through Horseshoe Bend. It's 150 miles of pretty twisty roads. It's a lot of fun. It was supposed to be like a really cool thing.
Yeah.
So I'm grabbing cameras, I'm grabbing GoPros, I'm grabbing all this stuff to like make a really cool, maybe like a video from this, right? For not any channel specifically. But I grab all this stuff, I get to the event, there is 4 cars there. And I pull up and I say,
this is not a rally.
I say,
No, not
so
at all.
I'm like, what do we have here? I'm like, we have a Honda Civic hatchback. I'm like, we have a CRZ, which is kind of cool. We have an RSX, and we have a Civic Si coupe, right? And the guys were all really nice, but I said, where is everybody? And they're like, dude, we don't know. Like, we got here early, right? At that point, it was 10 a.m. The meeting point was at 10 a.m., which in my head means kickstands up or, you're on the road at 10.
Yeah, you're rolling.
Right? You're rolling at 10. So I got there at 9:30 thinking I was already late. One of the guys got there at 8 a.m. He drove from Fruitland because he didn't want to miss the event. So he's like, I've been here for an hour and 40 minutes already.
And that's like 40 minutes away.
I'm like, oh my God, right? I'm like, this is frustrating that nobody's here yet, right? And my favorite part was that, like, this right here, the plan for this, it looked like regular ass traffic, right? This is just normal. This just is an everyday drive up to Idaho City, and these are probably the cars you're going to run into on the way there.
I mean, let's be fair. It's a Honda meetup, so it is going to look like traffic.
I know, but it was too regular. Like they weren't even modified, right? So it was just stock cars, and so I pull up, and I'm just kind of like,
it's the passion, the thought that counts.
And they're all looking at me like, Anthony, we're really excited about this video you're gonna make. And I'm like, video on what? No. Like, what am I supposed to do? So a couple more people show up, and I tell them, and I say, hey, I guess I'm gonna sound super mean when I say this. I don't think that this is worth videotaping, And they look at me and they go, what?
Oh, that's gonna crush their little hearts.
They go, what do you mean? I said, guys, like, this doesn't sell well in the media world, right? And they go, well, but like, really, like, is there anything you can do? And I'm like, yeah, maybe like something, but I'm like, guys, I'm sorry, like, I'm not trying to be rude here. It's just I have my car, which looks relatively modified, and then I have about 5 cars that look stock, and I got one Type R that just rolled in, which is pretty cool, but filthy. Like, literally the dirtiest car there was the nicest car was the dirtiest car, and I go,
par for the course.
You could have like at least done something, right? So
he came there to drive.
They came there to drive, apparently, right? Well, eventually, right, an NSX shows up, which was pretty sweet. A couple more cars show up, which is cool. Another car shows up, another car. So more cars show up, right? But it was still that like, nothing is super cool here that's going to scream true Honda rally. In my head, I envisioned 40, 50,
S2000s,
40,
NSXs,
50 black
Type
Honda
Rs.
Civics with green underglow ripping up through a
that.
mountain, mountain pass, right?
Maybe a beat or two.
Well, the guy that coordinated the event, who works for Larry Miller Honda, shows up and he says, "Hey, dude, the pace car is going to be here. We had an Accord wrapped for this event." And I said,
"Okay."
He said, "You did what? You wrapped a car for this?" Like, right? Like, I'm trying to be nice about it, but it's like
it's
like
not sounding
it's nice. Like this like there should have been more exposure, more media stuff created to make this event bigger.
That is odd. Like, how did they promote this?
Or have some cool
there was little
little
to no promotion. The way I would have done it is I would have set up an easy up tent from our friends over at
Click Tent.
Click Tent, right? I would have set up a tent at the starting point, right there in the Albertsons parking lot, right? Come here, get a name tag, get a keychain, get a Honda hat, whatever the heck there is, right? Sign up, right? Maybe sign a waiver saying, hey, Larry Miller isn't responsible for anything like that. Make it feel professional, right?
Right, yeah.
People would have rolled up. It would have felt like
it was a Larry Miller event.
Technically. But it would have felt more professional, right? You have the pace car there with the Larry Miller wrap on it, with Idaho Rally and all this stuff on there. And then there was also a Honda Ridgeline chase truck, right? Which had
lights and stuff on it?
It had lights, it had a jack, it had
Fix
jack
a flat,
stands,
probably.
it had tools.
Yeah.
So it had all this stuff in it. I said, if this would have just been marketed better, holy crap, like this could have been a really cool thing with maybe cooler cars out here, right?
Right.
There was no S2000s, there was no EG Civics, there was no EF Civics, there was
So what was there? Grandpas and their...
Oh, man.
And their
no,
pilots?
it was all kids. It was just kids. It was just kids and younger guys. They were all really nice.
Because they're going to be the ones who are the most excited about getting together and going for a drive.
They were nice guys, right? One of the guys there had just lowered his car. He just got it, and it was a nightmare. And some other people there were in some really kind of clapped out things, but it was going to be fun regardless. So I said, all right, I'm going to roll with you guys. I'm going to shoot what I can. I'm going to roll with you guys to Idaho City, but I might part ways after this, because the way I'm mentally thinking is my car's going to get hammered on this drive. Nobody else cares about their cars, right? Mm-hmm. But my car has already been touched to hell, right? Has already been rubbed on and loved on by 20 different men, right? And now now my car's going to get all chipped up now, even more than it already is, right? So I'm just
thinking... What kind of protection did you have on the vehicle?
Yeah.
CSL and EXO, the softest.
After washing it, though, did you put any topper or anything on there?
Great coating.
I put
looks great,
paint
but isn't
gloss
gonna,
on it.
Hold
All
on,
right. Just want the folks at home to understand where we are.
So at this point, I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to get more damage from my car. Right, this road is not nice. It is not a kind road, right? So I'm thinking I'm going to get more damage on my car
needs to be stressed.
in trade-off if of doing this whole thing. So anyways, we start rolling out. We rolled to Idaho City. Everything's going pretty good. And they're expecting me to pull off. And I'm thinking, you know what? I've had such a wasteful weekend. I don't even care. I'm just going to enjoy the drive and just do the damn thing, right? So we keep driving. We drive all the way through. First stop there, a Russian guy. Actually, no, I can't say he was Russian. He was Ukrainian, right? On his Honda Accord, is like kind of like Jen's Honda Accord, newer Honda Accord, right? I see this like this kind of like Tupperware, not Tupperware, but like this container that you'd get from Albertsons sitting on his hood there. And I see him going back and forth and eating it. The top's off, right? But he keeps going back to his hood, eating right there on the hood, and then walking away. Yeah. And so I eventually walk up and I say, "What the heck are you eating? Is that a whole tub of coleslaw?" And he goes, "Oh, no, it's seafood salad." And I go, "Seafood salad?" I spit out my, like, I was like...
You just bring that on a road rally?
I said, "What?" And he's like,
seafood, and he's like, well in a hot car.
And he's looking at me. He's like, what's so weird about that? And I said, is your stomach made of steel? Like you're eating seafood salad that hasn't been refrigerated in probably an hour since we've left, 2 hours, right? Yeah.
Slathered in some kind of dressing.
You're just eating this on this road trip, right? I'm like, man. What in the heck? And his girlfriend's kind of like, yeah, he likes his seafood salad.
Wow.
And he just could not understand why that was weird. And I didn't know how else to explain. Like I said, he was pretty Ukrainian, right? Yeah. He had a really deep accent. I didn't know how else to say, hey, that's pretty weird, but you know what? To each their own. Have fun eating your seafood salad here on 150 miles of twisty road, right?
On a hot day.
Whatever happens, right?
Yeah. Oh, boy.
Then the other thing that made my day was there a kid. I was walking around just kind of talking to myself, and then I see this kid rolling his front fenders with a tire iron, right?
Like
literally mid-rally, just bending his fenders out. It was the most hilarious thing I've ever seen.
What was he using?
Tire iron.
Just straight up tire iron.
Yes, he was just shoving.
Fender, no protection.
He's pulling a Dane Hennon.
No towel, nothing.
Dane Hennon would not do that.
This dude, like, straight up, like, just...
Put a fender defender between those, at least.
He went freaking crazy, right? And from there, though, the rest of the drive was absolutely beautiful. It was really bumpy around certain parts, but it was really nice. And
those roads are amazing.
And it was really, really fun. So we actually finished the rally, went through Garden Valley, came back home, and I'm fully expecting... Like, because the couple stops we made, I was looking around the car like, okay... Nothing crazy's happened yet. There's been no major chipping or anything like that. I got home, man. I looked at the car. To my freaking surprise, there was a couple, pinpoint chips on the lip, but there was nothing else on the car. Nothing on the hood, nothing on the windshield. I couldn't believe it. It was amazing, right?
Apparently, the fate's shone down on you positively that time.
So the good news, I had 20 men rub on my car. The bad news was that I had that happen. The good news was that I didn't get any chips on the drive, so it was well worth it. However, the other people there, their stuff got hammered. The kid that rolled his fender had a brand new windshield. Bam, new crack in his windshield, right? The other guys there that had the Civic Type R's, massive chips in their bumpers because he had two Civic Type R's with Michelin Pilot Sports. Sticky tires, kicking everything up at him. So
on the back.
I kind of lucked out, through the whole thing. So it was a good time. Came back home, and then Sunday night, I think that was the night I ordered pizza. I can't remember what the heck I did.
Sunday night was last night.
No, it was 2 nights ago.
Oh, sorry, 2 nights ago. Wow.
So Sunday night, actually, I have to go back through my document. I documented everything. So then Sunday night, I don't know what the heck I did.
Just popped in on my stream to comment.
Yeah, Sunday night I popped in on your stream. I hung out, did some computer stuff, and was kind of it. So I knocked out half of my list of things I wanted to do. The other half was filled with things I didn't want to do or things that I probably shouldn't have spent my time, wasting on it.
Fair.
But anyway, so that was it, man. It was, like I said, it was a good weekend.
Yeah.
Minus the fact that, there's some other things that happened that bothered me, but, whatever. So
well, it sounds like you had fun.
I did have fun.
Yeah. I think that's fair.
So I'm ready. Let me sit back, take a drink, and
after a half-hour discussion on Anthony's weekend,
I was gonna say this is going to probably take an hour.
We're gonna. I'm almost tempted to Nick. We may have to put in a break in this.
So,
because
in fairness to you guys back
there, this is gonna.
Sorry,
be a long one.
I thought it was a good weekend.
No, it was a great weekend.
It was
It was gonna be that long.
The stories were hilarious.
So we'll kick it back all the way to September 11th. That was the day we left.
I know. It just
so September 11th, we woke up. Anthony, me and Dane, Jeff, and Josh all met at the airport. Left bright and early. We had to meet there, I think 6 a.m.
Yeah, 5:30. It was early, but not the worst.
Super fun.
By any means.
Myself, Dane, and Josh Petro, all three of us, pre-check. Anthony
glided through security.
Walked up. Was there anybody in line, Dane?
Excuse me.
It was Josh, myself, and you. That was our security check line. That was it.
It was fine.
My favorite was when we walked by and we said, "All right, Jeff, have fun. We'll see you on the other side." And
thinking it was going to be
the best was your dad was like looking at his phone and he's like, "Well, now hold on. I also have oh, I don't." And how many people were in that line? Probably 45, 50 people in the plane security line.
Yeah.
It took us 30 minutes from the time Jeff got that line till the time he popped out. It took him 30 minutes to get through the security line. We had ordered bagels and hung out. We were doing our stuff. So trip right off the start, Jeff going, dang it, I should have got pre-check.
Which he has clear, the super high end one, but it didn't really work.
It doesn't work in Boise.
Yeah,
it's just how it goes. So I have clear as well.
If you have one, it should at least get you to the next level below that. But
no. So anyway, we got on our flight, had a good flight, but it was a long flight. We flew from Boise to Seattle, Seattle to Detroit,
and I'm gonna.
Detroit to
Frankfurt.
Detroit Rock City. You guys stopping for anything exciting?
I'm going to preface all this by saying that going into this trip, you were healthy.
I was fine. I was fit as a fiddle.
I was just on my
I think you were still active COVID
day of recovering from COVID, but I had it that prior week and was recovering that time, and I never fully recovered. I had the congestion, I had the sniffles. Yeah. It was not pleasant. Yeah. And getting on that plane, I've not experienced that kind of pressure in the head on a plane since I was a little baby.
Dane's body plugged itself up. And random holes got plugged up on that flight.
Not great. Couldn't hear anything. So anyway, continue.
But anyway, we made it, landed just fine. I was able to get some sleep on the plane, which was nice.
Very nice.
Josh was able to get some sleep on the plane. I think Josh took a Xanax. I took a Tylenol PM. Because I really, second Europe flight, wanted to be able to get some rest. Yeah. Right? Wanted to be able to.
So how was this flight compared to the first one?
Not bad. It was a little harder. Here's the problem. Our flight from Detroit to Frankfurt, the only seats available, dead middle.
We're in the middle of the middle. So I have a rando on my
left. And
Jeff
has a rando on his left. Josh and I are behind Dane and Jeff.
Yeah. And also with randos.
Also with randos on either side.
And it is hot.
And it was a hot plane.
It is hot.
Was it?
A hot plane.
Yeah,
so,
hot plane.
Needless to say,
I got 1 hour of sleep.
I don't like when things get too hot. In the nether regions when I'm sitting on a plane. Do you know what I'm saying?
You got a stew going.
So super fun was listening to Jeff tell Dane to stop moving.
As a big guy, I get on those flights and to keep circulation. I don't even think I do the lean forward.
He just leans forward and rocks
He just kept telling Dane, he's like, "Will you stop moving?"
And he was just like,
"You need to
still."
Be
and
still.
I'm just like, "Are you serious?"
Did you feel like a kid again?
No, I was pissed internally. I was just like, "You're not telling your sick kid right now to stop moving because it's inconvenient."
Oh, he was.
Because he was trying baby boy, your firstborn baby boy.
I had some choice words I kept to myself, but I was just like, fine. So then I just sat there trying not to move, and I held as still as possible, and I was sweating. And just sitting there sweating, congested, feeling like total garbage. But I wasn't moving, so it was fine.
So it was pretty funny. So we got done with the flight.
And then afterwards, he's like, Josh, you didn't have to do that.
And Josh and I are like, man, we're glad we got some sleep. And Jeff goes, yeah, I didn't get as much sleep as I wanted because Dane wouldn't stop moving. As we're walking off the plane, and Dane's like, I I couldn't help it. I'm sorry. And he's like, well, you didn't have to do that, Dane. I'm just saying.
Recently sick kid.
It was great.
Cool. Just
yeah.
Write me off. Thanks.
But then we popped out of Frankfurt. We got a taxi, headed straight to Messe Frankfurt, which is the hall. It's about a 10-minute taxi ride.
Yeah.
To the main center. We got there, walked right on in.
Yeah.
Patrick and them.
Security.
Yeah, Patrick and them were right there. We were like, sweet, this was easy, perfect. Started setting up the booth. Got our booth set up till it was about 10 a.m. when we got there. Had the booth set up by 3 o'clock. Everything pretty much done, ready to go.
We're waiting on a few people to
We had
arrive.
Color Lock, so we had Bodo, Dirk Dew, and Lars and Michael for Color Lock.
Yeah.
And then on our side, we had Patrick and Dylan and ourselves, the four of us, getting everything set up. So there's 6 of us there. So then headed to the hotel because it was about 3 o'clock. We could finally check in, maybe get a nap before we go grab some dinner. So that was really nice. Our hotel we stayed at was the New Air, Niuair. Really cool place. Took a nap. We each had our own rooms, which was very nice.
Very nice.
It was actually probably the best thing about that trip was having our own room.
Yeah.
And we were there for a week. So we could unpack as soon as we got there. We were able to kind of just set up our shops.
That was, despite being sick, the most comfortable I felt on any of our trips where it's like, okay, I can just like put my stuff places and not have to worry that someone else is going to say, hey, can you move that? It's just, just put it there.
That was nice.
Great.
Yeah, that was probably the best.
That was the modicum of luxury I was hoping for. Just like, finally.
It was expensive. So the weird thing about this was.
That was some BS.
So one thing we found so Lars booked the rooms. Mm-hmm. So when he booked the rooms, they were going to be 80 euros a night. We were like, dang, what great deal. And right now the euro is exactly the same as the dollar. So $80 a night. We were like, cool. I hop on the week before we leave and I notice that the hotel rooms are almost 400 euros a night. And I go, wow, those suckers.
Yeah.
Should have booked when we booked back in March or April or May, whatever it was when we booked those. And so we go in and we log in to pay for everything. And they go, all right, so your guys' rooms are now like one night's 91 euros. The next night's 160 euros. The next night's 180 euros.
And you're like, this is for the same room,
The next night is 140 euros. So they've raised the price.
Yeah.
And so
you moved some gold bars in there when I wasn't looking.
So our room's rate had increased, even though we had booked them when it was cheap, because they had raised the rates all the way across. They basically charged us double what we were supposed to pay for that trip, although we could have paid quadruple if we wouldn't have done what we did. So that was the only pain point, was paying more for rooms than we thought we were going to.
So literally we would have to purchase them in advance.
No, we did purchase them in advance, but they
reserved them, but they didn't pay for them. The difference is if you paid for them, maybe then you would get them.
Yeah, anyway, it was a very strange situation, but that part, whatever, we got it figured out. So that night we had ourselves some dinner, delicious dinner at a Bosnian joint.
Yeah, it was like a
Serbian-Bosnian joint that was really good. Yeah. Then the next morning headed in to start the show. That was really good. Yeah. Messe Hall is very much like SEMA in the sense of the SEMA Center because it's 5 million square feet. So 12 halls, 5 million square feet. We had a great time.
Grant, you're on one today.
I love this.
Can't post
I love this.
I want G's. Put up G's. You have to put it up.
Oh, God. Fascism fudge bar.
Yeah. So we had a good time. Needless to say, we had a great time. Show was good. Show started out really nice. So it was kind of a cool thing. I don't know if you sent them pictures or not.
I was looking just there to see if I could find anything.
Should have sent some pictures had I known we were doing the podcast right this morning. But we were right across from a DIY area, which was put on by the IDA Germany,
cool
Otto Lackhoffen, Koch, Sonax, Manzurna, Scholl, all the German companies, detailing companies, built a DIY section.
It's like
so you could go use cleaners. Color Lock did it too. You could like go clean some seats with products. You could polish some hoods. You could play with different compounds. You could put on coatings. That was probably the coolest thing, was to have that space literally right in front of us.
Think about the people who go to these shows and they're like, yeah, that product sounds interesting, but I wish I could try it out.
Yeah. So that was
nice.
That's
what this is. You could try it out.
Yeah. Next to us, we had the Coach Chemi team, which was really fun. And then Dry Ice Energy next to them.
Yeah.
And we had a blast. Honestly, our layout was really, really spectacular. Lars even had built a small room off the back of our booth.
So good.
Like a nice closet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We had a fridge back there we put in there.
Yes. No way.
Filled it with sodas every morning.
That's right.
Oh, wow.
Drop by the convenience store every morning.
Snacks and treats. Anthony, the snack selection we had was perfect.
This was the best snack selection of any of our trips.
Oh my gosh,
you would have loved
fantastic.
This was all built for Anthony Fisher.
And Lars had Haribo out there, like simmering, just like
a lot of cracked open dry
out gummies, dry aged gummies,
gummies for you. Truly like amazing. So one of the great features of this whole thing was our morning walk. Every morning we could walk to the mesa hall. It's about a 10-minute walk, easy, simple, but it really got the blood flowing, got the day started.
Was it like a mile and a half?
Yeah, it was about a mile and a half. Yeah. Not bad.
No. You guys do that walk every day?
We got to walk every day.
Dane,
I went to the store and helped him buy stuff a few times.
Oh. So Dirk Dew had his van. Dirk Dew is got a lot of arthritis.
I love Dirk and I love his van.
So Dirk had his van, and you remember Lars's van.
Yes,
we had.
Yeah.
Dirk has basically the same thing.
Oh,
so
nice.
Maybe explain Dirk a little for people who may not be familiar.
Well, for those of you that don't know, Dirk Dew is Dirk Duvenbeck. Yeah. He's a Ferrari detailer. He's also a detailer to the royal family in the UK. The guy's been a detailer for 30 years, and
he's like the Ferrari.
He's the detailer. So super cool to have him with us. He brought a Ferrari F12 FF to hang out to park in our booth. But super cool guy, awesome. So Dirk was running a shuttle, basically. Dirk had his van. He had 3 seats available every morning.
Yeah.
And so him and Bodo would usually drive with your dad.
Yeah, and they would take all our bags.
They would drive. They'd take all our backpacks and suitcases and whatnot, anything that we didn't want to carry, so we could do the walk. And it was a great time to be able to do that. They'd also pick up snacks and run to the store and grab stuff. So that was super fun. But one fun thing about Dirk's van, it's a diesel.
Yeah.
But he he has a sound system on it that he can push and turn it on that makes it sound like a C63, like a 63.
Crazy. I guess
like
he got
a
it out of an
6.3 liter V8.
But it's meant to sound like an Audi RS V8.
It rumbles when
even though it's a Mercedes van. It didn't matter.
It's pretty rad.
It was called like a Thor system.
Yeah,
or something.
It's pretty cool. So he put that on, and
I thought it was just inside the car the first time he did it, and then standing outside and hearing it. Yeah, I realized it's twice as loud outside.
Oh, it's awesome. It's pretty much. I need to add it to the Elantra.
Oh, that would be amazing
because it's so perfect.
Yeah,
it's awesome. But anyway, so Dirk would drive every day, take our bags. The rest of us would walk. On our walking group, it was the Color Lock boys. It was the me and Josh and Alan Medcraft.
Yeah.
Every morning, nice walk. We'd have breakfast in the hotel, get everybody ready, and then we'd start walking. Load up Dirk's van, and we'd head over. So, show was great. Show was nothing more than a trade show. We met a lot of folks, a lot of people that we saw maybe at Waxstock, a lot of people we've seen at SEMA, a lot of friends of the group came by, said hello, got pictures, got video. It was awesome. The other thing they had right across next to the DIY section was an actual stage where you could give a presentation and a discussion.
And you did that.
Yeah, and there was this lady, Karina, that was the moderator for it.
She looked so intense from across the way. You're just like, oh, that lady's in charge.
And Frauke Noel was and Magdalena.
Okay, maybe it was Frau who was in charge.
They were the ones that were running that hall. Yeah. And so they would come by every morning, see if we needed anything. Super great ladies. And then Karina was the moderator for the whole event for the whole week. She was handling all the moderation stuff. And what was cool was you could walk up, Anthony, they would give you headphones. And they would translate it into English in the headphones so you could hear what the speakers were talking about. So you could sit and listen to the discussions if you wanted to.
A speaking engagement, but if you were in any of the booths nearby, there was no sound coming from the stage to interrupt your talking to a customer.
That was
or anything.
super rad.
Yeah,
because you could play English or German in your headphones. So that was really neat to have. But basically, every night we grab dinner. There'd be about 14 of us.
Yeah,
having dinner every night. We'd bring our crew, which at the time also included Justina and her son. They showed up, and then our crew plus whoever we invited. A couple nights we brought, the NG&T boys. A couple nights we brought some guys from Egypt.
We had the guys from Norway who were really
cool. We had our friends from Norway, our Norwegian distributors of the Rag Company products, Tommy and his buddy. So that was super cool to have. It was just fun. Every night we go to a different place. We went to an apfel wine, an apple wine restaurant.
Yeah. We
went to a couple brew houses. It was great.
Did you have a preferred beer there, Dane?
That was the part that actually really messed with me. Was we went into this place that looked like it was going to have the most amazing German beer selection. It was this Apfelwein place.
Yeah, it was a beautiful beer. It looked like an old beer hall.
Frankfurt is all about apples for some reason, so that's their thing. But going in there, it turned out they had no beer.
It was apple wine.
They don't do beer.
That's literally what they had.
Wine,
they brought
these all you get,
or old pottery jugs full of apple wine.
But that's mostly just apple wine. And the funniest thing was,
it's like a cider.
Simon and I turned it into a game.
Oh, and we had Simon with us from
Simon was very cool. I like Simon
from France. So he was with us.
He has an amazing origin story.
Yeah.
But
he's South African.
Basically, he and I were drinking this and kept going, I hate this.
Wait, Simon who?
Birchall.
I can't remember.
Anyway, Simon Birch?
No, not Simon Birch.
No.
Wait, but you're saying his name was Simon Birchall, so it was Simon Birch.
So we kind of turned it into a game where we're drinking this apple wine and we're like, I don't like this, but it's the only thing here. I need more. So we just kept drinking. And then others are like, what are you guys drinking? And we're like, it's this stuff. It's not that great.
Let's just say everybody drank it except for myself. And I think that was me. Just me, really, and Lars.
Imagine apple juice that went bad.
Yeah.
That sounds
so
disgusting.
So anyway, everybody had hangovers the next day that drank it. Their heads kind of hurt.
Sugar,
But the aftertaste, it didn't taste sugary, though. And the aftertaste was just like water. It tasted like nothing after a while. It was weird.
But how would you have gone to Germany and not drink just beer?
I wanted beer there. It wasn't an option.
But anyway,
continuing.
So we had some great dinners everywhere around the city. We went to an old-fashioned steakhouse in the center of Frankfurt, like in the financial
City
district.
Center was cool. They had their own Merrill Lynch bowl that was like weirdly proportioned.
Yeah, they had a bull and a bear. Like it was cool. It was literally the Wall Street of Frankfurt we were in. Ate at this chop house that was a steakhouse that was like,
that place wasn't messing around.
Money deals have gone down.
Looking around, you're like, oh, this is Business Frank's place.
Yeah, this is a fancy joint. So Jeff disappeared for a bit to go check out Yellow Tools, and he came back carrying a suitcase.
Which I then called Business Frank.
Yep, that Dane renamed, because you guys know we love to name our suitcases.
Yes. Yeah.
Dane was then going to use it because at the end of our journey, we had to transfer some stuff to your big suitcase so you could have a lighter suitcase.
It makes it sound crazy. We literally are like offloading our dirty laundry and keeping the clean stuff and then not using that anyway, so we send it back home with Josh.
Yeah, so
in my big green case.
So this new suitcase,
smaller green
vintage,
case.
Probably from the 70s.
Yeah.
Green, tweed. There's some green canvas with some brown
leather straps.
Yeah. Very, very fancy, but because it's so chaotic
and no zipper.
Because it's so chaotic, they named it Business Frank.
Oh, so, it absolutely was.
So chaotic. Business Frank joined us for the journey, but end of Auto Mechanica, they had a happy hour to finish it out, like the day before the last day.
Yeah.
That was right in the center of all the exhibition halls.
Yeah.
Free beer, water, and pretzels. Ooh. So we got to do that. That night before, we had done a flex party at their booth. Same thing, beer and pretzels. Big, huge German pretzels, which was awesome. Again, Anthony, we just missed the heck out of you because you would have loved it.
We kept thinking Anthony would love this.
Yeah.
No, I really would have loved that. I would have brought my lederhosen specifically for the event. But I told you guys that, like, if we're going to do that, here in 2 years again, we got to figure out a way to get to the actual Oktoberfest.
I'm 100%. We're going to Munich.
But I think we got to go to Munich, not Frankfurt.
No, I want to go. I want to do Automechanica, and then I want to do German sightseeing. I don't want to go to another country. I want to stay in Germany and do some stuff.
And actually, go around.
I want to check out the Rap Institute in Munich. Yeah. I want to go to Oktoberfest. I want to check out Lars's place. I want to go to KCX headquarters. I want to
do all that while not being sick.
I actually want to do that. So, I want to be able to spend some days in Munich and hang out and check out the
2 years
area.
to prepare our bodies.
Berlin,
2
years.
push-ups.
Yeah. So,
trim down.
super fun though to be there. So that was our week from basically Monday to Saturday. Yeah. Saturday morning, Dane and me and Jeff had to wake up really early, 3 a.m.
Oh,
we had to leave to go to Italy. And Josh, who didn't have to leave the hotel, his flight wasn't until 10 a.m. Mm-hmm. He left with us. He's like, I'm going to get up with you guys.
But that's because his brain, he's wired like that.
The problem was he couldn't get into the airport. They wouldn't let him in because his flight wasn't. They're like, you're 6 hours early for your flight, bro.
Yeah.
So he had to sit out in the front ticketing area.
What?
When you go to Boise
crazy.
and you're just kind of upstairs and in that front, that's what they said. They're like, you got to stay right here.
Yeah.
He had to stay for 4 hours and hang out before his flight.
Now, I realized
when he could have stayed at the hotel and slept if he wanted to.
We kind of glossed over a couple of things.
But I just wanted to get that off.
No. I'll say as far as the show goes, though, as far as the show is concerned.
The show is amazing.
Think in terms of comparing it to SEMA, because that's a lot of people's frame of reference. The way it works is the days are an hour longer than SEMA.
It was 8 to 5 or 9 to 5
There's another day or
day.
two for Automechanica.
Yeah, it's 5 days instead of 4 days. 5 days of trade show.
It adds up a lot, but in terms of the people coming through the booth, we felt like looking around, there were fewer people there than there had been at SEMA during the peak. However, the trade-off was the people who were coming through,
everybody was there to do business.
Much more invested in actually talking to you, were actually interested in what it was you had to offer.
It was
worth the trip.
It was more trade than show.
Yeah, that's how I explained it. I was like, SEMA, it's a lot of the show, a lot of the,
glitz and
glamour and the dazzling, all that, and just really trying to puff up your chest and look cool to everybody.
Yeah, this was work.
This was work. This was actually
people were doing deals,
working on a technical basis. They're asking you real questions, and you're getting into the books and stuff.
It was good. It was really good. So we had fun, and then.
And the floors are all asphalt, so there's no
that was the only problem,
carpet.
Anthony.
Those shoes are the only things that saved us.
Not really.
Brooks.
They didn't save us.
But I was going to say, even then, it was absolutely...
You wore your Brooks for most of it.
Yeah.
I didn't. I wore our new SEMA shoes, and they hurt my feet so bad.
Yeah.
It was not fun at all. I hated it.
It was
I felt like I was wearing our fake Adidas.
But I will say, if we had been wearing any other shoes, it would have been worse. I'm convinced of that.
Well, no, I switched to my Brooks because I couldn't handle it anymore, and I was greeted with comfort thanks to our friends at Brooks. But point is, that morning we woke up early. We caught ourselves a taxi to the airport.
The taxi?
Our taxi driver, all of a sudden...
Dude was busy.
Yeah, our taxi driver, all of a sudden, answered a phone call while we were driving.
No context or anything.
No context.
Just kind of picked it up as it went along.
Literally said... I'm gonna pretend I'm the taxi driver.
Please, just pretend you're him.
You guys are the passengers. Everybody here is
we're just sitting in the back.
We're just, hey, bro, she say 600 for 600 euro for 1 hour. Beautiful girl, red hair. I can bring her to. She can come to your room. And the guy on the other end goes, if she's not beautiful, I don't want her. There's no pictures. You need to send me pictures. Bro, I'm serious. She is beautiful. She's beautiful. Don't worry. But if she shows up, you pay. And he's like, if she's not good, I'm not going to pay.
I no pay.
And we're sitting there going, what the heck is he? It's 3 in the morning. It's 3:30 in the morning.
And we're just sitting here going, what is
happening? What are they talking about?
Yeah, man.
So then he's like, hold on.
It was so out in the open, just up front, in your face. And you're just like, he really doesn't care.
Then he hangs up. He's like, okay, I'll call you back. Hangs up. Calls the person. This time he doesn't put him on speaker. goes
like,
back in his ear.
I can still hear the guy.
And
though,
he's like,
through the earpiece.
yeah, and he's basically saying,
I'm sitting right behind him.
Hey, the guy wants blah, 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 blah. Here's what you're going to do. Here's all this stuff. He's speaking in another language.
Yeah.
So then he goes, sorry, guys, trying to get a girl for this Russian. Goes back. Hey, bro, she's coming. You just got to be ready to pay for her. How many hours are you gonna have her? And he goes, till morning.
Till morning.
And he goes, but I don't want to pay if she's not good.
If she's not nice. If she's not good,
beautiful.
I no pay.
And we're just like, holy crap. Holy crap.
It's too early for this.
Are we hearing this guy literally brokering prostitution in the vehicle while we're driving to the airport?
But it was 3 a.m.
That's
it wasn't
Europe,
like
baby.
it was like 10 p.m.
No, it was 3 a.m. He's just like, this is my job. This is what I'm doing. So anyway, they drop us off at the airport. We find out where we got to go. We get to the plane. Michael meets us there from Diamond ProTech at the airport. He's on the flight with us. We leave very early, take a bus to a plane.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's the fun part because they don't use the gates half the time. They just park all the planes out on the tarmac and then they just take you to it in the bus because
directly
they can't
in the
be
bus.
bothered.
So we fly into Milan, Italy. When we get there, we rent a car. The car we rent is too small for all of us.
Well, there's a fun story in the build up to that where we thought, he says it's around the corner. They said it would be big enough to suit all of us. Okay, it said it's good for 6 people.
It's a C-Max.
Like when they say that a sleeping bag is good for 3 people, and you look at it and go, that's 1 person max.
Yeah,
it's like that.
They said it's 7 people in luggage, and we go, that's 3 people in luggage.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got a small car, so we had to go to the hotel, pick up Corey and your mom. So we drive to the hotel outside of Milan, and we find out that Roberto and Avi are going to just drive Avi's car and pick all of us up, and we're all going to share.
Oh, no.
So we're going to split up between 2 cars, and we're going to do all of our running. So we drive from there to Modena, because that's really our destination, is to spend the weekend in Modena, or 3 days in Modena, have some fun.
Convenience store was much to your liking.
Convenience store, Anthony, was beautiful. The convenience stores on the Autostrada. Cool. Delicious meats and cheeses, Italian charcuterie boards available at any time.
Love that.
Ready to rock and roll.
Space age retro vibe.
Fancy. Yeah. Like high end. Like you walk in, you're like, oh, this isn't just a gas station. No. This is a meeting place.
This is totally
you take a date to this convenience store for dinner. Yeah. That's the kind of fancy convenience stores I'm all about.
Yeah. It's like a Fast Eddie's.
Yeah, like a high-end Fast Eddie's or
I'll show you
Mr.
some pictures
Gas.
after this. Guys, I'll share some pictures in the group so you guys can see all the stuff we're talking about.
We make it to Modena. We have a delicious lunch in a great little restaurant called the Bulldog.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Fulvio, our friend Fulvio, if you recall, from Geneva, he set everything up for us. He said,
nice. Yeah.
This is the best restaurant. This is another delicious restaurant.
It was basically the local
this is
real
like, deal.
Don't go to that. Everybody says
don't go to the Olive Garden.
This.
Yeah. We're going to a place called the Bulldog Tavern. Okay.
Which
had a delicious evening dinner. I mean, it was beautiful. Then went to our hotel, which was very grand, very old world. I got a closet to sleep in. I think my entire hotel room was the size of this podcast studio.
You open the door and you're like, well, there's the wall.
Dane got a suite with a living area, which was quite
Allow
nice.
me to explain. I took the first key they handed. They just said, this is your... And I'm just like, okay. Yeah. And it was originally for my brother and I. But the problem was we were sick and they were just kind of like, your brother can have a separate room or something. So they ended up doing that afterwards. But this room had already been selected, so I was like, okay, I guess I get that.
Yeah.
So that's why I had
that room. You can talk about that.
I want to say the keys for these rooms,
they were
badass.
They were heavy.
Super cool.
They were super heavy. They actually offered people the chance to leave your key at the front desk if you left. Like, because you didn't want to carry it around because it was so heavy. Like, this pile of keys right here does not equal the weight of one key in its fob.
As someone who lives in this day and age, as you all do, of like credit card swipe the door and it opens kind of thing, I always wanted to have that experience of using a real old key to open a hotel room door and just like...
It was so noisy.
That's something so cool. It's just clanky, clank, clank.
It's smacking on the door frame as you're
cool. It was just cool.
I didn't care for it. But anyway, so in Modena, we did we went to the Ferrari Museum.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Went over there to Maranello and hung out, checked everything out there. Then we went to have dinner at a delicious restaurant, Brazil, like a steakhouse.
Yeah,
that was
insane. That was one of those places where they show off in a glass case all the cuts of the day.
Oh, I would love
Anthony.
That.
It was like it had vibes of Prime and Beyond.
Oh yeah,
like that.
But they bought so much food. They ordered so much food, and it came out in plates. It was all family style.
Oh. I'm not a huge family style guy because I eat more than other people and I don't want to be judged.
We needed you there. I
promise you would not.
We needed you there,
but I didn't want people to judge me for how much I eat.
No,
nobody was judging anybody.
We needed you there because
Yeah.
we couldn't finish. We were all trying to finish it.
I was feeling.
Did you guys have the meat sweats at all?
All of us had meat sweats.
I was feeling really not good that night.
Oh.
Yeah.
Then we walk out and our rental car has a flat tire.
Oh,
yeah, that was fun discovery.
So I could have been there to fix that for you.
No,
Yeah.
we didn't have a flat tire or a spare tire or anything to fix it.
Because it was the C-Max, I was like, I know where they keep and then I went and looked under the seat and it wasn't there.
Yeah, none of the tools were like.
Yeah, somebody had stripped it of all the parts that would actually make it useful.
So Avi delivered all of us back to the hotel.
Yeah.
Went back, picked up Mike and Roberto.
I think this happens with us often.
Called AAA, basically
Yeah.
the Italian version of AAA, to come pick up the car. And Michael and Roberto were so pissed with the service with the car, they just left it at the mechanic shop.
Yeah.
And said, come pick up your car because this is garbage. And then we rented taxis for the rest of the trip. Yeah. So that first day was a lot of fun, checking out the Ferrari Museum, checking out having that delicious dinner. The next day, we drove into part of Milan or of Modena that is it's where Parmesan comes from. Yep. It's where what else? There's all these different cheese. It's like
very specific types of cheese that it's kind
of
all
like the fancy Italian cheeses.
You know how champagne can only come from that region of France. It's like this, but with cheese.
Yeah, that's how this was. It was the Wisconsin area.
What's it called?
I can't remember.
They had a few specific types. We could look it up.
So it's an Italian cheese place. It's the city.
Well, no. We're talking about
area, the town, the area, the region.
The part outside of Modena.
Is it known for its Parmigiano?
Yeah.
What's it called?
It's known for Parmesan. It
known
is
for Parmesan.
For mozzarella.
So is it the place that was in James May's tour of Italy where he goes to the cheese wheel place?
I think it's close.
Where it's like millions of dollars worth of cheese.
Yeah, nearby, probably. It's probably in the same area.
I would have died to go into that. I would have literally been like.
But where we ended up going into was very unexpected.
Let me cut you open.
Yeah. So we went to a dairy. So we went to a dairy farm.
Split a cheese wheel.
Yeah. So we went to a dairy farm.
Yeah.
Got to see all the cows.
Before the dairy farm, we went to the shop with the.
That is the dairy farm. That's where it's all at.
No.
Oh, before that?
I'm talking about the music boxes, the Bluetooth speakers.
Before we left the city of Modena to go out to the farm.
It was very important. They wanted us to go to this place first.
We stopped at X-Boost.
X-Boost.
X-Boost takes exhaust systems and turns them into speakers.
Yeah.
So they custom build their own speakers inside of exhaust systems and make them like works of art.
Not things made to look like car parts. They are car parts.
Yeah. So they'll take like one of the headers from your Honda. Mm-hmm. Let's build this into a beautiful speaker sculpture.
I don't want that. I don't want that as a.
They had some insane.
So that's the kind of stuff that they did. So it was really cool to check them out. You guys can look them up as X-Boost, and they make some really neat stuff. They're expensive.
I'll share pictures of their stuff in the group
and
too,
then,
because it was fascinating.
So then we left there and drove to this facility that the kid that owns X-Boost, his grandfather owns.
Yeah. Okay.
The Panini family. That's their last name, Panini.
So the Panini maker.
So we went to their place, and they are the tops.
Yeah,
trading cards.
Wow.
Of Italy. They made their fortune creating soccer trading cards.
Oh wow.
The grandfather, big fan of Maserati, created the largest Maserati museum in all of Italy, in pretty much all of the world.
For historical Maseratis, you won't find more of them in one place, it seems.
So then they built this. Built this
their
beautiful.
Old cars are good. It's the newer stuff that's a little.
But they built this beautiful facility. I mean, it was everything I love: old iron, old brick. They built a really cool old building for this stuff. So we spent the day there. We shot a Diamond Protect video out front. Spent the day, beautiful day while we were there, hanging out with everybody.
Yeah.
Great to see Fulvio. He joined us. His son joined us as well.
Rolling hills there of
Beautiful,
Italy.
beautiful.
It reminded me a lot of driving out to Nampa or Caldwell.
It did feel like Nampa or Caldwell.
It felt like
because we're in farm country.
Yeah.
So then we went to a little restaurant right next to the museum.
Ooh, These restaurants don't look like restaurants.
No,
when you're driving,
it
just looks like a house on the side of the road.
Oh, that's how you know they're good. They have probably little red candles in them.
Yeah.
And the guy was saying, it's like, you just passed 5 amazing restaurants. You're like, what? Those houses back there? It's like, yes.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
So we go, again, same thing. We're going to bring out all kinds of different pastas and dishes. Everybody enjoy yourself. They brought out rabbit. They brought out all kinds of stuff.
I would have loved to have eaten a rabbit.
Dude.
You would have liked that.
It was crazy how much food we ate for lunch and dinner.
You would have loved all the seafood options.
Oh my gosh, absolutely.
It was amazing.
Seafood
so then we headed back into Modena.
Yeah.
On the drive back home at that point, I realized that we were literally like downtown Modena, like right in the heart of the city, of the old city. And so I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know our hotel was right there. So we got back.
Yeah, our sense of geography was
everybody had
up.
some time. We had about 5 hours, 6 hours before dinner.
Yeah.
And so I took a nap for an hour, and then I went exploring, wandering around the city, checking out the Duomo, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Dane proceeded to sleep for those 5 hours.
Because I was sick.
But then once everybody was up and ready to go, we went and had dinner, and we had a beautiful dinner.
That was a super cool walk out to the square.
That is the main square.
That was amazing.
Dane, if you type in Modena City Square, that's the square. We were sitting and eating in that square.
Once again, guys, in the Facebook group, beautiful. I will post lots of pictures for everybody to see the stuff we're talking about. Please, after this, tune into there, or at least put a tab open so you can refresh until I post that stuff for you guys. And Levi could post there too.
Yeah, it was
put it out there.
It was unbelievable. Yeah. So beautiful, wonderful dinner that night. That was Monday night. The next day we were going to be leaving. So then Tuesday, we all got up. You guys packed all your stuff. I packed my stuff because I was going to be flying to London. Yeah. You guys were going to be headed south. And so before we left, we headed to another town that is the weird medical pharmaceutical.
It was like a biopharmaceutical capital
manufacturing area of Italy. It was crazy. Like Medtronic was there.
You'd just be driving and it's all farmland, and suddenly there would be this these very expensive looking building. And
yeah. Anyway, that was cool. So we're like, where are we going again? And he's like, we're going to this paint shop. And
he said it was like a tuning shop. It was originally a different plan, and then they had some cars in there we weren't allowed to see at the time. So they're like, we can't have.
So the place we went to was Imperiale, which turns out is the paint shop for Lamborghini
and Pagani.
Wow. They paint all of Lamborghini's cars except for the Urus and the Huracan, because those are made on
high production volume.
But those are made on Volkswagen's production lines.
But for everything else, that's
all the other stuff. That limited production. That red Lamborghini that we saw in Geneva, that they were like, this is the only one in the world.
Roofless.
And Dane's I've seen this. It was painted there.
They painted that. They painted basically every concept Lamborghini you've seen.
Everything.
Should have asked him for a quote for the 70s. Civic.
Yeah. So they use PPG paints.
Do they're big into PPG.
Yeah. So all the Lamborghinis are painted in PPG, which was pretty cool to find out. So that was one of those where we were like, holy crap, I can't believe we're actually here. It was
amazing. And peeking in the back doors to see what was in there. Because
tons of race cars.
We showed up and they're just like, no photos.
They were like, you can't take photos, please. But they let us take a picture of their race truck. So we got a picture of us in front of the race truck. Because
they were the Squadra Corsa people.
Yeah, so. I made sure I followed the company and the race team on Instagram and Facebook, Dane. I expect you to do the same.
And they themselves were actually very, very nice folks to
they were great.
Talk with.
But it was a very quick, 20-minute, 30-minute visit.
Like Roberto was apologizing. He's like, I thought there would be more. I'm sorry. It was really totally fine. Cool. It was interesting to look at anyway.
Yeah.
So there was a Diablo GTR getting worked on in the back.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And then so we took Dane and the Hennon family to the train station in Modena, sent you guys off on your southern voyage, and then I grabbed the boys, drove me 2 hours back up to Milan. We stopped at McDonald's because there was nothing else open in the middle of the afternoon.
Yeah.
Everybody closes.
It closes at 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock. Nothing's open.
Yeah.
And so the only place was a McDonald's. So
How was Italian McDonald's?
Italian McDonald's was McDonald's.
Okay.
Tasted like McDonald's, looked like
It's
McDonald's.
kind of their specialty.
Their McCafe looked like a proper Starbucks. Crazy. And then hopped
Cost
on
like
my
one?
flight, and I flew to London. Jack and John picked me up. So Jack from Stjarnaglas and John
That's
Hull
awesome.
picked me up in John's new Tesla.
Yeah.
Took me to dinner at the at our old stomping grounds, the Smith and Western.
Did you? So you actually did go to the
I
Smith
actually
and
went to the
Western?
Smith and Western, had the
my God.
fajitas.
Really?
Do you guys park in the same parking garage?
We parked we parked out front like we did the first time.
Oh, okay,
Oh,
okay,
yes.
yeah.
That's cool.
And then we
I love the freaking Smith and Western,
It is
dude.
so
It's a
funny.
good sense of America. Did it make you
Yeah.
feel like you're back in
it
America?
made me feel good to be there with those guys.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun.
It's
Yeah.
better when you're with them.
Yeah. And then we ate in one of the jail cells because we had the whole restaurant to ourselves.
Oh, man.
You lucky dogs.
yeah.
I've always wanted to eat in the jail cell.
So we ate there, and then we had delicious dinner. Sat and talked till basically closed the place down. They took me back to my hotel about midnight. I was staying at the Moxie.
yeah,
Nice.
another just
Checked in.
amazing place.
He's just getting W's left and right
Yeah.
here.
Checked into the Moxie and was like, "This is great. I'm having so much fun. I need a late checkout." They said, "Sir, late checkout is at 11:30," and I said, "Make it 12:30."
Yeah.
And the guy goes, "Okay." I got to sleep in, walked down to the Tesco, picked up some chocolates, picked up some sodas, some bananas, enjoyed a wonderful morning, just chilling out in my bed, watching TV. And then I headed back to the plane,
Yeah.
hopped on the plane, flew home to Boise, and made it home. Then I got COVID.
Yeah.
And I've spent the last week staying home. The last literally let's see, I got home on the 23rd of September.
So if you were wondering why Levi, despite having left a week earlier than I did, still wasn't on the
Yeah.
show last week, that's why.
Yeah, so I had COVID and I've been home literally up until yesterday. Today's my first
You
day back
poor
in the
guys.
studio. So I am back, and with that, I'm going to run to the bathroom. But Dane,
Okay.
let's hear the story of how the Hennon family made it south of Medina.
Boy. Yeah, so Medina. We were there and we got to the train station. Obviously, we parted ways so that Levi could go and enjoy his Italian McDonald's. For the rest of us, we were relegated to the train and figuring out how that worked. Now, granted, in Italy, it's pretty cool. They got really fast trains. I think they call it Freccia Rossa, something like that. Very cool. But figuring out the station can be a little confusing.
Yeah.
Once we figured that out, we got it. We got on the train. Unfortunately, the train was packed.
Yeah.
Just absolutely floor to ceiling, full of people,
Sardines.
luggage, all that. So we kind of had to, but we were in a higher class cabin, so at least like the seating arrangement was nice. So that part was good.
Yeah.
But it's like the price difference between like a regular class or like a first class and all that stuff. It was small enough that it just kind of made sense. Like, just get the nice one. You're already tired and sick and stuff. You don't want to be stuck in an uncomfortable seat and all that. Like, do the best you can to make it at least manageable. So got in there, did that, rode the train. We got up to about 299 kilometers per hour on that train, almost 300. I think we did break 300, but every time it would get to 300, the screen would black out.
Oh my God.
And then it would come back afterwards. I have to say, though, riding those fast trains, man, I wish we had some stuff like that around here just to get around the States faster.
So how fast is that? That's 180 miles an hour?
Yeah, you're getting close to 200.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's pretty fast. But good times, good times.
Yeah.
So beyond that, well, actually, I think sometimes that's in excess at 200 miles an hour. I can't remember because I know 100 kilometers an hour is 62 miles per hour. So you double that and you got 120. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, we got there. We rode the train all the way to, Salerno, which is we went through Rome, through all the places, like, peeking out the windows of the train along the way to kind of see. But it was basically like a 3-4 hour train ride.
Yeah.
And, as the stops go on, you get some space. Finally, you can put your bags up and stuff, kind of stretch out. And as you get further and further down the line, fewer and fewer people are there. Until we got to Salerno, Salerno. Really like that town. It's actually a cool little like port city, kind of coastal kind of thing.
Yeah, some vibes. Seagulls.
Yeah. No, very rainy town, but we got there. It was beautiful, sunny, and all that. So we hitched
crisp
a ride.
air.
Yes, very crisp. And we hitched a ride in a taxi van, which had like pillbox windows. Like it was like a little Nissan NV van, but it was the tiniest window. The window was the size of this iPad. And you had to like slide it to look out and just be like, breathe. Because this guy had set up like a COVID shield inside of his van where he took like just, I don't know, like 3 mil plastic, clear plastic, and just duct taped it along the ceiling and the floor, and it just created like a Dexter kill room style seal between where he was and where you were. But he was walking around like talking to you outside anyway, so I was like, yeah, that seems real effective. Anyway, got from there down to the port, got to where the charter boat was, and this is where it kind of transformed from being, you know, a work trip into, okay, finally, this is going to be our first family vacation in 12 years. I have to stress that, 12 years, over a decade, since my parents, myself, my brother went and did any kind of like drive to California or drive to, you know, the Grand Canyon, something, you know, just some kind of, or Yellowstone, like some kind of family trip. Like we hadn't done that. And we figured, well, my dad and I are already over here in Europe. And I never got a chance to go to Europe the one other time they did it, which was like over a decade ago, because they took my brother and I couldn't get the time off work. So I was stuck at work and they all enjoyed their time. So this time I was like, all right, we got to do this. I was super excited. But what I wasn't stoked about was the fact that I've been sick on this trip. So it wasn't really great. I felt like I hadn't recovered fully from COVID. I wasn't contagious anymore. Nobody was going to get it from me, but I just didn't feel good, you know? And for anybody who's had it, even the more mild forms, when it sticks around, it sticks around. It's just not fun. So anyway, we get off the van, we walk down the port into the marina, and then we see where the boat we're looking for is, and there's the skipper there. He says hi. He basically greeted us and led us to the right place. But within not even a minute of having been present near the boat, we were handing off luggage to go onto the boat. And there's a plank. There's no gangway. It's just literally a wooden plank that has a marina with the concrete on one side and a boat over here, the back of the boat. And it's a catamaran. It's like a 42-foot catamaran. And this plank is the only thing connecting the two other than some ropes attaching stuff. And you got to walk across that. You know, it's like the balance beam back in gym class. So few of them cross, and of course I'm a big boy, so I'm like, oh, that's going to be fun to walk across because it is just very flimsy looking, but it supported being in, which was great. The problem was it was my brother's turn to go. My brother was like the second person onto the boat. He sent his luggage across, and the skipper grabbed it, said that was great, and set it aside. And then my dad took his luggage, walked away, and the skipper was coming down, having done something up above, was walking back down, and he was just about to step onto the plank when my brother stepped on the other side, and the plank popped up and shifted about 6 inches to the right. Yeah. And the skipper, as he's walking, goes, oh no. And then he immediately just like, he's very British, and he just popped right off where he stepped, where the plank was, and then fell into the harbor.
What?
And so
your skipper did?
In the first minute of being present, my brother sent the skipper underwater. And let me tell you, that water in the marina,
not good.
Not good. You think like, oh, there's probably like some boat fuel in there and stuff like that. No, there was like trash floating and some other things floating. Like it was not.
So you guys got it started off the right foot.
Yeah. So the poor guy was soaking wet, and all he could think of it. He goes, I've never had that happen to me before with a customer. He goes, but I have fallen in the water before. The last time it happened, my phone wasn't waterproof. And he's like, I just got myself a new iPhone 14. So he pulls out, he's like, oh, thank God, it still works. But that was about the only thing. It's like he was worried about his phone not working. Yeah. So he was happy to find out.
I would be too. You're getting ready to take a family on vacation. You don't have any.
So poor skipper, right off the bat, just sent swimming. So that, that really set the tone for how things were going to go. And it's just like, oh, no. we couldn't apologize enough, but he was like, it's fine. But you know when people say it's fine, you're like, oh, they're going to hate us. Mm-hmm. So my brother felt bad, obviously, but we got past that. We had ourselves some pasta on the boat that he cooked for us, just because there was no like dinner plan in place. So he's like, I'll just cook pasta on the boat here. I brought supplies. We could do that.
So the captain cooked for you guys?
Yeah.
Did he have his own room?
Yeah, he had what they called the coffin.
What's that?
It's basically a bunk room at the very front of one of the catamaran pontoons.
And it's a decent sized room?
No, they call it the coffin because it's small.
Oh, really? So he slept there.
You know, depending on the size of the boat, we learned a lot of stuff along the way. But basically, when it's a larger boat, you have more crew. But in this case, it's 42 foot, so he can manage everything himself mostly with the help of like one of us.
So does he cook, clean, and drive?
Traditionally, that's what happens if you get like a fancy charter thing. In this case, that wasn't really what he was doing. He was more just doing the driver role and like being tour guide. So a lot of the other stuff, like when it came time for dinner and stuff, we would make our own things because my cousin's a really good cook. And there's a kitchen on board. Think of it like a floating RV. I mean, it's like that. It's being in a
private driver.
Yeah, I mean, let me tell you, it sounds fancier than it is. It's still very much like, yeah, you're in a, your toilet situation isn't the best and all those things. So, yeah, all kinds of fun stuff to discover there. But it was really fun being able to get out on the water and not having been in like a boat like that in such a long time, where it's big, but it's small enough you can really feel the motion of the ocean and all that. It's
super glad I didn't go on this trip. Yeah,
so you would have probably felt really not great. Mm-hmm. And probably for the first day or two, people were feeling pretty seasick. But I think after a couple of days, I felt like I acclimated and I really enjoyed that. But I was sick in the other way, so it still wasn't fun. But I would say the first point we left, we got my cousin there. They had their kids. And then we also have Marcus, who came with us, who was like a family friend who plays guitar, who's here in Boise and stuff. His mom was a neighbor of my parents. So basically...
But he was in Italy already. I remember your dad saying he was already
wanting to go to Italy because he was thinking of moving
there.
No,
he was already there.
Yeah, but my point is he had been thinking about this for a long time because he was kind of like sick of industry stuff. And he was thinking, well, maybe... Try a new leaf here kind of thing. Yeah. So that's why we had the random guitarist on the boat.
So he was already there. What was he doing already there?
So basically, he was just checking out places, seeing where he might want to set up base and live.
That was a good timing. Then.
So basically, we said, hey, you'll be around anyway. Do you want to come on this trip with us? You're a cool guy to hang out with. You want to come along? Yeah. And of course, you feel kind of weird because it's like a family trip, but at the same time, you're like, this guy's cool, and we all have our own separate spaces. He can sleep upstairs on the couch that turns into a bed, and it's like, that works. That's fine. So he was game because he wanted to go out and see the sights, and he was like, I'll play guitar for you, you know, and just do a little private concert or something. It's like, cool, that's neat. So, it was really fun. But that's why we had a strangely very talented guitarist just with us for some reason. Because I know some people are like, going on?
What ports did you hit up?
So from Salerno, we left Salerno, and in the following morning, we slept overnight in the harbor in Salerno. Then we took off, and that was our first little voyage where we went to Positano. Mm-hmm. And Positano is where we spent a lot of time. That was kind of like that was a pretty touristy place, like down on the waterfront. It's extremely like they have all these rules about you can't go in this far, but you can get yourself a buoy. If you get a good buoy, they'll offer a free taxi service. And the way they game it is like it's €100 for the taxi service, the water taxi, to get from your boat to the shore once. €100. Yeah, I know. In Positano. But for €140, you can get yourself a buoy and free taxi service. So obviously you get the buoy and the free taxi service, and you can use as many times as you want.
Okay, that's good.
And they go into the night. They were driving back and forth at 2, 3, 4 a.m. They were still going to like all the because in the grand scheme of things, our boat was like a small fish in a big pond. We're looking over and like, oh, that's like a $1 billionaire yacht over there. Like, you're seeing crazy stuff out in the water there, where they had like a water slide coming off of the 3rd story of this friggin' yacht and going down. You're like, oh my God. But then you look around and you're like, oh, but then there's also people in like a little wooden sloop, like a little Sea of Thieves type, single mast sailing ship. And it's like, that's cool. But it was just a variety of stuff. I just like being on the water. It was super fun being in a different environment. Yeah. Because I spend a lot of time indoors. It was just nice to get out and breathe sea air and do all that stuff. So I really loved that. But Positano was cool because it's a city built into a hillside. So essentially you're looking at a ton of walking, but it's almost vertical. Like everywhere you go is just steps and steps and steps going up to a cool church or these restaurants or like an art gallery, all these things. And a lot of it is touristy up front, but as you get further back, it becomes more and more natural, obviously, until you find yourself all the way up to the road. And then the road is like, there's a lot of people driving through here, surprisingly. Like you look at it and you're like, how do people get there? But then you realize, like, as soon as you get behind the city, there's actually a pretty busy roadway that connects everything. So it was cool to see that. But once we left Positano, we spent some time there, had a night, and I think we paid for dinner like every single night. So the skipper was eating on our dime then at that point. But it's the way it worked, I guess. But it was just nice to be able to get out there. But the part I want to stress is my cousin and his wife, my niece and nephew, their kids, run around and touch everything because that's what
children.
That's what 5 and 6 year olds do.
Yeah. And Anthony's going to enjoy that when Lucy starts, now that she's getting mobile.
Yeah, so they're like little twins. They're not separated by much time at all, but they're 5 going on 6.
Well,
and
being twins, they wouldn't be separated by much time.
No, that's kind of the implication. But my point here being, they touch everything. They put everything in their mouths. Yeah. If someone's going to get sick, it's going to be because they probably touched something. Yeah. And then they tried to feed you something that you didn't want, but they're right there crawling on your lap going, eat it. And you're like, no. So, I think that's where my adventure in being sick came from afterwards. So anyway, we go from Positano. We move on to the next port, which I'm failing to remember the name of. But basically, we're working our way out towards Capri. So, like, out towards the big, the gully islands and all that stuff. Like, really cool. And just, like, coves that looked like, think of any movie you've ever seen set on a beach that was rocky instead of sandy. Like, there were these absolutely picturesque, gorgeous beaches against a sheer face, rock face wall where it wasn't inaccessible by anything other than a boat. Yeah. And you just go there and you look around like, there's nobody else here. But then we go, swimming in an area, and then one of the kids finds a car tire that fell off the road and decides to start wheeling it into the ocean because that's what kids do. And that was fun. Then we had to bring it back because we're not going to get fined for littering. That was essentially it. I can't really explain this stuff so much as show you in pictures. So I'll share a lot of pictures in the group so people can kind of see better. I'm not going to drag through it. But just riding on the boat, super pleasant, wonderful experience.
So then,
a lot of the stories just come from the fact of just not feeling great later.
So let's fast forward to that. So you had number of days on the boat, eating great places, having delicious dinners, beautiful scenery, hanging out on the boat. So tell us what happened when you were coming back home.
So I had already been feeling sick prior.
Yeah.
And then after one of the nights, my brother, and it was his birthday on this trip. So that was kind of the other reason we were doing this, is we wanted to try and make it special for his 30th birthday, make it a big thing. And, it's
birthday
fun.
Was up at Bogus Basin going down the Tube Hill.
I remember that. So, I wasn't invited. I remember that. My 30th birthday was bowling at Boise State. Yeah. Natron was there. Had
not really exciting 30th birthdays in our families.
Hey, man, my 30th birthday was quietly spent at home doing nothing. So I'm just saying, basically, you time it all together and you're like, hey, congrats.
Well, Corey is a star child. So continue on.
So Corey was feeling garbage by his birthday. He had what we thought was food poisoning from one of the things. And everybody was like, did you eat the same thing as him? No. Did you eat? And like trying to figure it out. Yeah. And when we figured out that someone else, I think Marcus had the same thing Corey had at this particular restaurant that would have timed it right. And Marcus was like, I feel fine. And so we're going, okay, so it's not that. But by that point, I'd already spent a night sleeping in the same cabin as my brother. Like all these nights I've been staying there with him. And my symptoms suddenly kicked in like a day or two after. I thought, okay, I better stay up high side and stay on the back deck, sleep outside when we were in Amalfi.
Yeah.
And I got nasty sick, like the nastiest sick. I haven't felt that disgusting.
So
sick.
That's a normal thing with having children around. It's a stomach bug that will hit you. And it burns hot and it burns fast, and it doesn't care where you are or what you're doing.
No,
I've had it run through my household. It was not fun. Anthony, didn't you have something similar to that?
No, I haven't.
Through yet?
Okay. Basically, you always
Soon you will.
You always hear Anthony joke about these nightmare scenarios that could happen to him. It happened to me. So basically, my brother, he felt sick. He was awake enough to basically pop up, say, sing happy birthday with everybody, say thank you. And then he went to sleep, and then he missed all of dinner that night, all the other stuff. He was just passed out, and I was like, uh-oh. So I spent the night outside sleeping on a bench that was way hard and not meant for people to sleep on. It's more of a sitting bench. But that's what I wanted my bed to be because I didn't want to get sick. And then I got sick anyway.
You didn't worry about the bugs, though?
Yeah, so that was the other fun part, was I got bit by bugs. The bug bites still have not gone away, so that's a great sign.
I got bit by a rare one-off bug that only lives in Italy, and I don't know if it'll heal. Dane.
Oh man, well that's unfortunate.
So continue. So you get sick. Now what's happening? You're on your way home.
I get sick, and we're on our way home at this point. I'm feeling, but. Hasn't fully happened yet. I puke once because I thought, I'm just seasick again or whatever. But no, it wasn't that. Basically, we get back to Salerno, get to the hotel, and I realize this is not going great. So my brother is starting to feel a little better at this point, but I am trading places with him fast. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we essentially turn it into a hospital bed where I'm just laying there and only getting up for the most key things. They want to have dinner and I barely make it for dinner. Then head back, and I realize we have to get up in the morning at a reasonable time. It's no longer like a really early thing. We're like, finally, okay, this is the relaxing part of the trip where you don't have to get up super early, because that's the hardest thing about going on these trips. I think is just keeping a schedule when your entire clock is turned around and maintaining that. Like, if you're already sick, it just adds another layer of difficulty on the whole thing, where it just makes it that much harder to recover from it afterwards. But at this point, it had been beat up by the previous week's trip and then leading into this. And wasn't feeling great. But we got ourselves out to the train station in the morning, which was at the end of the, 3 blocks walking from the hotel in Salerno there. And I was not feeling great out on the platform. So my parents and brother and I had been collecting sickness bags, but they weren't really sickness bags. They were shopping bags because that was all we could find. And one happened to be a paper shopping bag, and that was the one I was able to reach fast enough. And on a train platform in front of 200, 300, maybe even 400 people, I just started puking my guts out. Everybody was looking at me. It was a great feeling. So, just a little public humiliation there. Really nice. But that was the aftermath. The other parts were basically, this is a both ends kind of sickness. So,
see, that's the thing. I'm not, the part you're waiting for throwing up doesn't scare me.
Well,
it doesn't bother me, right?
So it's one of those cases where I'm sorry to everybody
the other tip
listening.
Of the sword.
Yeah. Sorry to everybody listening.
No, this is
now.
the fun.
It's one of
this
those
is the
cases,
meat and potatoes of the
well, there wasn't any
right
meat
here.
and potatoes left. Basically, it's where you feel your absolute worst, and then right after, you feel the best you've felt in a long time.
So you're on the train platform, you puke in front of over 500,000 people. Into a brown paper bag, you throw it in the trash can, I assume.
Yeah.
You're having rumblings in your gut.
Joey's right. The infamous number 3.
How many hours from this moment until you arrive in Boise, Idaho? How many hours is it going to be, Dane?
This was the worst part because it was a 2-day process to get back to Boise. When we were leaving Salerno, that was a train ride that took us to an airport that we would then fly an EasyJet to get to Amsterdam. And then from Amsterdam, we would fly to Minneapolis, and then we would fly to Boise.
All right.
So that is 2 days worth of travel.
Close to 48 hours.
Having the infamous number 3, as Joey eloquently stated.
And it's now started right before you get on the train.
Yeah.
How long was the train ride north to the airport?
That was probably like an hour and a half, something like that.
Did you have to use the facilities on the train during that hour and a half?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, once you got done with the train ride.
Let me tell you, like going 200 miles an hour and then hitting a corner while you're in the can there is an exciting experience that I don't recommend to anybody.
All right. That sounds like a blast.
Yeah.
So then, after the train station, you got to catch the EasyJet. How many hours do you guys have from between the train station to the airport EasyJet?
Well, here was the hard part. We got to the airport. The EasyJet has this stupid thing where they don't tell you what your gate's going to be until right before your plane gets there.
And then you run.
And then they change it. Yeah. So we got switched up multiple times on the gates. And of course, I'm like, I have to go to the... And they're just like, but Dane, it could happen at any minute. I'm like, guys, this isn't I need to do this. And it's just like, I need to purge.
I need to empty the system.
So, yeah, so I went and did that. And then my brother came like, panically got me and brought me back, and then we all started running, and then we get into line for this EasyJet thing, and they're like, it's not this line, it's that one, and then we have to run over to a different one. And then while we're all sitting out there, they hear an explosion outside, and we're going, oh my God. And it turned out it was like thunder. It was this crazy lightning storm that was coming by. But when you couldn't see anything, you're like, oh my God, what's happening at this airport?
Yeah. Scary.
It was intense because everybody had the doors open because you take you out to the buses to go to another jet.
Jeez.
So anyway, I'm totally glossing over the fact that we did a tour of Pompeii, which I actually felt pretty good for.
That's good.
I did that, so that was nice.
How was that?
I got lots of great pictures of Pompeii. Pompeii was actually a super fascinating place to visit, and I'm so glad we took the time to do it.
Yeah.
Like, I was genuinely interested in all that stuff, seeing it. So very cool. I felt like garbage, but I got my pictures, and I was really happy to have
it looked amazing.
So it was beautiful there. But
so were you at Milan Linate Airport? What airport did you guys fly out of? Did you fly out of Milan?
I'd have to look back and check. I don't think it was Milan this time. I think it was closer to Rome this time.
Okay.
It was somewhere like, that's why it was shorter going back, because we didn't go all the way back, I don't think.
Okay, because Milan's like right north.
This
top of Italy.
This ain't that.
So anyway, hopped on that EasyJet.
Yeah.
How was the EasyJet flight to Amsterdam?
I was sweating profusely just trying to hold it all together.
Did you use the facilities then too?
Not on the jet.
Oh, good.
I was holding it together as best I could, but it was
because it was what, like an hour and a half flight?
Yeah. It was like flying to like Sacramento from here or something. So it was just far enough that it was like, come on.
Yeah.
But yeah, hour and a half or so, hour 40 minutes.
And then once you guys landed in Amsterdam, where was the hotel? Just outside of the airport in Schiphol?
Yeah,
or in the
airport. So
airport.
Schiphol. And it was an Ibis style.
Yeah.
So it was like this funky little hotel, and we had to ride a tour bus to get there, and it stopped at like 3 other Ibis hotels before it got there. Just trying to make it. Yeah. And then finally get there, and it's just like, okay. And when we get there, my brother and I are looking at the room going, oh, finally, there's actually some beds in here. It's still like the weird, like 2 tiny beds pushed together situation. But in this case, they put 3 of them in the room.
Oh, my gosh.
So there are 2 making one kind of full bed, 2 making another kind of full bed. And then on the ground on the far side was a bed on the floor. And I'm like, I'll just take that. It's closest to the window. I need the airflow. Just please. And my brother's like, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, my gosh, Dane.
We made that work. But yeah, I was at that point when we got there, I was bad. Like I was barely responding when they would ask me questions. I was just kind of like borderline
fevered,
comatose. Yeah, it was not a good time.
So you spent the night at the hotel.
Yeah, so we did not do anything in Holland, Amsterdam, nothing, because just staying at the hotel and getting all the sleep I could get, take a shower, just try and cleanse myself. Yeah, it wasn't enough, but yeah.
So the next morning, what time did you guys leave Amsterdam?
And then the next morning, it was like, it was like 10 or something.
Okay.
Like that. And yeah, then we got on the plane and we flew from Amsterdam to Minneapolis. And getting into Minneapolis, I understood, like I filled up my water bottle, all that stuff at the Amsterdam airport. We finally got together. It was good. And, going in, you have to deal with security and all that. And going back to the States, we got to go through some layers of stuff. this might be the worst time I've had coming back from a trip. So it just added
Did they
to the
strip search
crappiness.
you?
No, but
Okay,
it was
that's
basically, there were a few things that contributed to this. So when we got back, we made it to Minneapolis, and they, funnel you through multiple layers where it's like, okay, first one, check your passport. Great. Okay. Person checks it. That's the first line. Are you global entry or are you a U.S. citizen or whatever? Okay, U.S. citizen, go this way.
Yeah.
Go down, meet along the way, and then another person checks your passport, and you go through another gate. Another person checks your passport. So
did they give you a pre-check sheet?
Pre-check.
They gave me a pre-check sheet.
They gave me a pre-check tab, but it did not help with this.
Oh,
so basically, you're being funneled like cattle along this way until you eventually reach a security line.
Yeah.
And when you get to that security line, they're like, after this, you'll be able to recheck your bags and all that stuff. But yeah, they had like an isolated baggage carousel where you pick up your bags because you're coming from an overseas place. But this is where it got screwy. So they funnel us. I had at no opportunity was there a garbage can for me to like go dump my water. And then the guy gives me crap for having a full can of water when I go through the security line. And I'm looking at him like, I filled this up at the airport. And he's just like, yeah, but it wasn't an American airport. And I'm like, I know, but okay. And he's just like, you can't go forward unless I can empty this. And I'm like, well, obviously, go ahead and empty it, kind of thing. Yeah. It was one of those things that felt so stupid because you funneled me here. You gave me zero opportunities.
Were there bathrooms?
To empty this thing that I filled. There was one at the very beginning, and if you didn't get that, you were stuck.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we essentially got funneled through there. And we got to this point where we got to the front of what I thought was the end of the security lines. At this point, we'd gone through about 5 or 6 people. Like, there were a lot of checks, which, hey, if you're into that, great. Okay, you can see it's working.
Yeah.
But we got there, and then my dad goes, oh, no, I have this banana. He had a banana from the plane he had brought with him.
Yeah.
And they go, sir, you need to go to the agriculture line. And then it sent our whole family back through the agriculture line.
Oh, no.
Because he had the banana.
Toss the banana.
Yeah. So we're just like, oh, my God. And my dad was feeling really, he was upset at himself. He's like, I should have just left. I should have thrown it away. And we go through the line. And then sure enough, the guy at the line was finally, the other guys, frankly, were kind of jerks. Like, they were not nice at all.
Well, the agriculture guy's like, man, I haven't had nobody today.
No,
like,
the agriculture guy was the only nice one. Like, of the bunch, he was just like, oh, yeah, you got that from the plane. Yeah, I get it. I understand. I'm like, oh, thank God somebody is, like, not a jerk right now. Cool. So they had us go through. They had to scan all our bags
Chef
again.
And his
running
banana
through
will be the death of him.
Thing. So yeah, he and his banana cost us all another trip through a line. And he goes, "I'm going to give you guys a little extra fast thing, so you can go to the front of that line, so you don't have to go through that again."
That's good.
Like, okay, thanks. And then we go back to the other jerk who was running the line. I was like, I get it. If you're in that position, you're dealing with people that frankly you don't want to deal with all day or something. Fine, okay, you get a little grumpy, but these guys were like extra terse and curt. I will say, as I sound like a Karen over here, but no, for real. Like I noticed when people aren't really all there.
So you guys made it through security.
Got back, and
did you have to go to the bathroom after you got out of security?
Like 10 times, and then basically just made it.
I just can't imagine going through everything that Dane went through with literally an active volcano inside your body.
Yes, that's what it was. It was like Coca Mentos.
Yeah,
it was
with
just
no idea where it was going to erupt from.
And you don't know, is it going to blow up on one side of the earth or the other side? I just don't know. So
anytime.
Yeah, at any time. So I just lucked out. It didn't happen on any of the public transit there. But got to the airport. And the problem was then we had like a 3-hour layover there.
Yeah.
We just had to sit around.
Did you guys go to the club?
They went to the Delta Club thing and made it work. It was fine.
Yeah, but at least you were there for you had bathrooms.
Yeah, and he proceeded to pass out in a chair and just not wake up for like an hour plus. Okay. So that was good. But so you've been to Germany and Amsterdam. This way, please, sir. Yeah. So anyway, but I know it's not that exciting. I can't get into all the mess of it, but
it's all right. We'll post some pictures in the podcast discussion group so everybody can kind of see some of it.
It was rough.
Kind of what we went through, had some fun, and
All in all, a good time though. Like
I'm just happy to be back. I got a whole bunch of packages on my desk. I have to go through and figure out what we've got here.
Let's go open them.
Yeah. I'm just happy to be back here.
I'm happy you guys are back as well. Dane, end this thing out because my stomach is eating itself.
There it is. All right, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and click like on this video so that we can present it to more people going forward. It helps us out and it helps you out by helping us out. So thank you. All right, guys. That's it. Let's go open some boxes.
See ya.
See ya.